Captain's log, stardate 4832.6.3. We are en route to the Carina system following reports that its seventh world is under attack by a mysterious temporal phenomenon afflicting the Federation colonists there.
So as we start off, you guys are on the USS Bellerophon, which is a Intrepid class starship, most famously seen in Star Trek Voyager. I'm sorry for those who don't prefer Voyager. So, as we start, you find yourselves on the USS Bellerophon bridge. Going on patrol, deep within the Federation space frontiers near the Romulan neutral. You're all on the bridge right now with some of your fellow lieutenants and sub-commanders. Let's go through a little bit, and because there's no captain's log for this particular adventure, let's go through and explain a little of what each person might have been doing all to the regular duty. And we can kind of go top down so we can involved. Let's go. I see here I have as Roy first.
Yeah. I don't know, I imagine. Well, was it like downtime? Was it a stressful environment so far?
No, it's been relatively calm, all things considered.
I assume Roy's been chatting somebody up and asking for a game of cards or something to pass time. Otherwise paying attention to... I don't know, I didn't mark him as a bodyguard. I don't know if he is just a bodyguard of the team, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, I mean, it sort of depends on your interpretation of it. What would you say is Roy's sort of role on the ship?
I imagine he would be a bodyguard of a squad. Like, he would be a personal security dedicated to the team that would be at most at risk going anywhere when, outside of the ship, I assume. And otherwise just security, if that makes sense.
You're the red shirt that lived. And kept living.
Am I a red shirt? I look like a yellow shirt.
Well, in the next gen era, some of the
yes, I
colors
am
are
aware.
switching around, yeah, but
I'm aware, but
yes.
I did change to a yellow shirt.
Okay, excellent. So with that in mind, let's kind of actually follow that thread of thought and security and go to your head of security, Takara. So, Wiggles, would you like to a little bit about what Takara may have been up to and on the ship?
Yeah, so Takara, the Vulcan chief of security, would be doing her security rounds on the ship as intensely as any other day, right? Even the slowest downtime is no excuse to slack off. And with that, probably passes Roy in the hallway and, makes some quip about, aren't you supposed to be on duty right now?
Go in there! Headed there! And little kind of thumbs up.
Yeah, and with that, I guess she heads to the bridge to, review the scanners.
Alright, and here we have, let's go for Honey Study. Counselor, I believe. Like to explain a little bit.
So they are a betazoid, which makes them an empath, and a natural counselor, of course. Small town, nobody wanted to get out and see the world. But I was out, the school year is starting back up, so we were going around and getting all of the, vaccines and healthcare taken care of, and mental health care for all of our incoming students.
Excellent. And then last but not least, we have our captain of the Bellerophon, Marta Del Rosso. And would you like to...
Yeah, you said we were heading towards the Romulan neutral zone?
Yes, a frontier area near the Romulan neutral.
I'm going to be either reading recent reports of other Starfleet vessels that have been in the area to update my knowledge of recent hazards, because, the neutral zone shit happens. Or if that game of cards Roy was involved with is happening, I have blown
Oh, yeah.
that off, and I am currently gambling.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, I was saying I'm headed to duty, but I'm hanging out with the people I'm supposed to protect anyway, right?
Absolutely. Some time passes as you are traveling warp speed destination. Before you get a urgent message.
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
You have a priority message from Starfleet.
This is fancy.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna, I assume this is a scenario in which I would turn gravely towards the camera and say on screen, or would I take this in my private captain's quarters?
That is up to you. Like this information be public, or would you like?
Yeah, I'm gonna say on screen.
Okay, so on screen, see a admiral from Starfleet, a Vulcan, a female. She's known as Admiral Talara. She's a member of the Starfleet operations. You are not quite familiar with her, but you do kind of somewhat know her by reputation. And as she appears, she says, Captain, Starfleet Command needs you to redirect your ship to the colony of Carina 7. It is on the way to your initial location. The reason why we're contacting you is that the colony's governor, Sarita Sebastian, is reporting a series of strange phenomena that threaten the colony's safety. He states that the children born on Carina 7 are aging rapidly, native flora and fauna are growing rapidly and rapidly withering just as well. Structures that should last decades are falling apart. Days. As your ship is the closest to the colony, it is imperative that you discover the solution to the colony's problem. If you have any inquiries, I am more than willing to entertain them.
I can assume that she is also forwarding a fully more detailed log of the temporal anomaly, at least the observations of the colony, and
Yes,
some basic information
She's giving,
about the colony too.
she's uploading basic information on Carina 7 to your computer. Yes.
Okay.
But if you want to know anything more while you're here, now's the time to ask. Or if you even want a summary of what that information is.
A summary of what that information might say would be useful, and I would also like to ask if there's any precedent within Starfleet databases for any similar phenomenon or phenomena.
So as far as Carina 7 is concerned, actually, let me have you make a check first. You can make a reason and science check to see if you can recall anything about Carina 7, before I cross-reference it. Your database.
Sure, I can do that, but I don't expect he knows offhand. Actually, let me check my well-informed trait first. Yeah, I'm not going to use well-informed right now. So you said reason and science?
And science. It's going to be a difficulty of...
Okay, I've checked both things in the character sheet. What do I do to roll?
perform task. Brings up the
All
problem.
right, and you said difficulty of 1.
Yeah, so that would just be
And
what we're checking.
it's just the standard number of 2 dice?
Yep. And you just want to roll on. Okay, that's all you need. So, you recall that Carina 7 is known as being a agricultural winemaking world, right? It's been relatively successful. It's done fairly well for itself, and it has made a note for being much better than the Synthi Hull replicators can make.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the computer logs are concerned, you know that Carina 7 has falls within Federation portion of the of territory,
Neutral
right
zone.
next to the
Yeah.
neutral zone. So it's not quite in the neutral in the Federation territory, but it's right on that edge.
How permeable is the neutral zone in TNG? Do ships cross back and forth, or is it like a DMZ kind of thing?
It's supposed to be a DMZ. You're not supposed to be crossing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, on either side. So Carina 7 is known as being it's a fairly small planet. It's got several icy planetoids within the same system. There are other planets within the Carina system, in the system, right? Hence Carina 7.
Yeah.
As far as the colonists are concerned, Admiral Talara kind of emphasizes. She says that I want to make it perfectly clear that the figure out the situation of what's causing them to age, but the colonist survival is most important. Because the colony itself and the people who run it is of immense importance to the Federation, and has been integral in creating several ongoing trade deals. Rengi, they seem to appreciate the value of the wine being made there, and as a result, we have secured a full fund of cold pressed latinum from them, so we can use our own negotiations.
All right. At this point, I would like to turn things over to our away team officer, our chief of security, and our ship's counselor, if they have any pertinent questions that should be asked.
Have there been any reports of people crossing the DMZ then, if it's not supposed to be crossed?
Because currently we have not any reports of Romulans.
What about, like...
Even if they should appear, they would be direct violation of
So it's definitely... There's no, like, merchant ships or any independent ships that cross the area. It's, like, totally locked down.
Yes, more or less.
Okay. Okay.
So rapidly aging, how are these? How rapid are we talking here? Like, how much time do we have to save these colonists?
They've been somewhat unclear of nature of the agent. Haven't had anyone go over to inspect it yet, but we suspect that things that would take years are now taking months.
I see. And has there been a steady rate? Like, it hasn't been increasing or decreasing, or we need further data on that?
Currently unknown.
Is it localized specifically just to the colony world, or is the phenomenon also being observed elsewhere in the solar system?
Currently, it's just been reported in the colony world. We would hope that it is not spreading to others.
All right. Do we have any other questions?
Sounds like we need to gather data. Sorry.
Yeah.
How long has this been going on?
It's been rather recent, within the last couple weeks. The report they reported within the last couple of weeks, but we have the impression that this has been going on for a few months.
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
Not for our Federation superior. Does our navigator or whoever controls the ship's speed and direction, do they have a name?
In this case, I have two ensigns here. I do not have names for them. So we have a Boolean and a not running your ship.
All right. Work factor 8, Miss Peregrine, and maximum impulse.
Of course, Captain. That, just to give you guys a little sense of where you are, here's the galactic map. So where this is kind of occurring is in the farthest region of space, where that little area between the Romulan Star Empire and the Federation, but right on the outskirts, like unclaimed spaces. quadrant. As you arrive onto Morgan's Hope, go up to the Carina 7, and you're given indication of where to land.
And is Morgan's Hope a space station, or is it a town on the planet?
That would be the main town on the planet.
Okay.
I feel like we should get some environmental readings before we just go down there.
Oh,
with
Yeah,
our
before we transport on.
suits.
At the very least, we should probably get the town mayor or whoever is in charge on screen first to have them report on the situation before we go down.
Yeah.
Immediately catch the aging disease.
Actually,
Well, yeah.
here we go.
I mean, based on what Drog said, I don't think it's like an aging disease. I think it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
time is speeding up.
Yes. I was just thinking that, we immediately get affected because we didn't do any of what you suggested. Just landed as the mayor's like, why didn't you ask me?
Oh, it's like that. Oh God, what's that movie? With Severus Snape as a sort of Spock XP. They transport onto the planet and they're like, wait, no, there could be no air.
Galaxy Quest?
Galaxy Quest, yeah. And then he just walks out and is like, seems fun.
Okay, yeah, so let's put you into orbit of Carina 7 first. So Carina 7, like I said, it's a fairly nice temperate planet. It's used for winemaking. As far as your computer logs are concerned, you know that the colony was only settled about 2 decades ago. So it's relatively
Damn.
recent. But quite nice. So first generation colonists. Up to you guys. What would you like?
All right, yeah. So I believe our security officer, Wiggles, can you remind me of your character's name? I'm so sorry.
Ikara.
Dakara, volunteered to get environmental readings somehow. Is that correct?
Yes, I would like to.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe a reason and science check.
May I use the ship?
Yeah, absolutely. So, something that you guys will notice is that whenever a test is made with the ship is always assisting. So that's always a freebie
Oh, that's
that
fun.
the ship gets to do. But it only gets the one roll.
Yeah.
So somebody else can roll for the ship, if you please. Go on to-
I do not have control. Like, it's not allowing me to check any boxes on the ship's sheet.
Oh, okay. Let me.
I can do an assist on that, I guess,
Okay,
unless we have
is
someone
the working
that is
out for
fast.
the.
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
What is the roll again?
For the Bellafron, I suppose it'd be a sensor check, sensor science. And the main role is a reason science.
All right.
And ideally, you'd want to do the main role first afterwards, because otherwise you hedge your bets.
Captain, are you rolling for the ship?
I can, unless somebody else wants to.
Yeah,
I have
go
it
for it.
pulled open. Perform task is in a different place. You said
It's on the
sensor
left.
science, and it's just one die.
Just one die on a system. Yeah, ideally it'd be the other way around. Sorry, no, never mind. I see. Yeah, the reason science task. Sorry.
We don't start with any momentum, is that correct?
You do not.
Okay.
And it works the same as in Fallout, where you get momentum for succeeding at a greater thing than the TN.
You can also pay me threat in order to gain more dice if you.
I will not.
That is an option. Okay, 2 successes. That's all you kind of need for a basic scan. All right. So, Tara, you see that the Carina system has a star of a yellow hue, makes it kind of similar to Earth. There are 6 planets that orbit too close to the sun to be habitable. Only Carina 7's in the habitable zone. There are some icy planetoids as well, kind of in the far distance of Carina. See that One interesting thing is that while you're running scanners on the planet, notice that seems to be a low-level interference going on with the scanners in your system, but you can't quite locate where the source of this interference is coming from.
Can actually, I don't have technically as much science skill. Can I delegate?
Certainly tried. Like to delegate it too.
Well, I think the only other person here that has science would be. Hold on, what was their name? Atani. Are you on the bridge?
Sure, I've been called to the bridge to be a consultant. I've been consulted already. So I'm rolling a science of what?
Well, I haven't necessarily asked yet because I'm trying to think of what else we could do.
Mind
rather
the
than just-
interference.
yeah, on the interference, because I'm wondering with the time issue, is there any way that we can measure gravity in the local area?
Well, my thought is we know that there's this interference, so if we can isolate this interference, we can then compare it to similar kind of waves or whatever that might be in our ship's databases, and that might be able to help us get an inkling of the problem that we can then start tackling when we talk to the people on the ground.
So do you think, okay, thought. You do a lot of scanning. You broaden the picture, get a lot of information, and then you look at the metadata for patterning of the interference to help direct us where it's coming from. Does that make sense? Because the
Yes, it does. And it has enough jargon to be a Star Trek solution.
Yeah. So I can absolutely say you can make another. Somebody can make another roll check to see, identify where this interference is coming from. I'm gonna call it a difficulty 3 though.
Can I assist Atandi with that roll? Atani?
Yes, describe how you'd be assisting.
All right, so Atani, you are going through this data to compare it. You were going through this data, wide sweeping scanning to see all sorts of like locational information and stuff about it.
To look for what normal information, like how it's being distorted. Is
Okay.
it being distorted in different patterns, which would indicate where it is being located, or if there are certain areas that are being more disrupted than others, aka somebody doesn't want something to be seen there.
I would like to call up some of the ship's science and engineering core, which we presumably have, and then I would like to direct their operations to help you, occasionally providing my own input, hopefully making this, on my part, a one-die control science check.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Collaboration.
Like it.
So control and science, and you said the difficulty was a 2?
It's a 3.
Oh, a 3. Okay.
3 successes.
I'm saying it's a control science on my part, but you can do it a different way.
Currently, you have no momentum. Would you like to give me threat in order to more dice?
I don't know. What do you advise my captain or any other teammates or deckmates?
I don't think we're at a stage where we need to start giving the GM resources to get us out of the situation.
All right, that makes sense to me.
I would say if control isn't a good stat for you, I would say that you should justify how you're doing your things in a different way.
Yeah, reason.
Yeah, I mean, science is a reasoning.
Yeah, you don't have to use this.
I see. Yes. We'll go back and fix that. Okay. And 3, and I don't think this is it.
I'm gonna hit the button on my assistance check.
All right. So far, with only one success, and you guys are not able to figure out where this interference, what it is. Only that you know that it's dripping.
All right, I'd like to hail the mayor or whoever is in charge of the main town.
Okay. Yeah. So as you hail the main town, they do not have a here. You
Yeah.
hear a voice come over the comms. Say, this is Governor Rita Sebastian. Is this the captain of the Intrepid? A starship orbit above our system.
We're the Intrepid? I thought we were the Belafonte.
Yeah, the Intrepid is the class.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm gonna say, greetings, Commander Sebastian. This is Captain Mark Del Rosso of the USS Belafonte. We are here to investigate the unknown temporal anomaly which is afflicting your planet.
Oh, of course. Please. Been calling for help from the Federation, and we're so glad that they've sent someone. He says, yes. We've been having issues with our vineyards dying off because of the situation, and our colonists have been affected too. I'd recommend coming down to see it by first hand. I won't not quite describe it with words, but I will do my best to assist if you have any questions.
So when he's talking at like a normal speed, right? It doesn't sound like his voice is being artificially sped up.
No. So the voice you hear is kind of like a middle-aged woman. With a very, very slight accent.
Yeah.
She seems concerned, but not necessarily sped up in a conversation.
Okay.
style.
So whatever the anomaly is, it's not affecting like day-to-day existence. She also seemed to care more about the vineyards than the people. That's interesting. Counselor, do you have any questions?
I guess let me look at the empathy insights and see if there's the mechanics on it really quick. So empathy, from my understanding, is not like open book. I'm not reading her thoughts, but I can read her emotions, or not because I'm too far. I'm
I
not
would
sure.
say you'd be able to read her emotion. Like, yeah, just
Okay.
a general vibe. So
So-
the vibe you would be getting from her is that it's definitely concerned. Feels a little stressed for time.
You don't say.
Yeah.
Have you been? Oh, I guess. Am I asking or am I advising to the captain at this point? That one.
What do you want to be doing?
I'm going to give it over to your lead and just say that, Captain, she seems to be on the level for the concern, but I sense there are perhaps outside parties who are creating pressures for her that may change her priorities. We should keep in mind when exploring this about the safety being disregarded as a purposeful tool.
Okay, Lieutenant. I concur, Lieutenant Stoddy. Not all on this planet is as it seems. And at this point, we've gotten back that we couldn't find the information that we wanted with the large-scale sensor sweep, right, Ron? All right. Well, unfortunately, our sensors could not tell us everything. And then I'm going to say we should prepare an away team and go down.
And with the away team is everybody present.
Yeah, all the PCs, maybe a red shirt or two if that's a thing we can do.
Sort of, but that's more advanced rule. So unless you really,
Okay.
really want to.
Nah, it's fine.
Okay. Do you want to teleport down or take a shuttle?
Captain, may I provide counsel on this decision.
Granted, Commander Takara.
I believe we should use the transporter rather than a shuttle, based on this time issue. We don't want to find ourselves out a shuttle if it begins to degrade.
Fine point, well made, Commander Takara. And then I guess we'll send communication down to the transporter room. Have them prep the beams. I'm sorry, go ahead.
My concern is that we shouldn't be going for a long time and would rather have two options. It's not that we can't transport people back up just because we took a shuttle down, and having the shuttle would give us additional hardware for examining the local signals that are happening, trying to get better data on what's happening with the anomalies. So I think having some hardware down there and getting initial readings to come back, because clearly it's not safe, and we don't know if it is increasing in rate or if it's maintaining the same. We don't have enough information to trust, and I think more resources is...
Yeah, but like, there's no reason we can't requisition a shuttle to come back down and get us later, unless our comms get shot.
Well,
So,
actually, Captain, I am swayed by the lieutenant's argument. In fact, we could even have it immediately available in case we needed to emergency exfiltrate, more than just ourselves.
Also, if we're having interference with our sensors just scanning...
yeah,
who knows
that
if
was
there's
my
so many-
concern, is that the interference is messing with our scanners, it's going to mess with the transporter, and it's going to cause transporter hijinks.
But wouldn't that
It's a
I'm
be
sorry to
concern.
interrupt. So yeah, we'll prep a shuttle and go down.
Okay, absolutely. Alright. So as you take the shuttle down, you don't have any issues entering its atmosphere and being properly. Hope. Remain. You see Morgan's hope from the ground is quite idyllic, right? There's a small grove of oak trees, stone paths leading to a very large home, where the middle-aged woman is sort of waiting for you expectantly. Presumably, it's the governor spoke to before. And I'm sorry, you were saying something?
Oh no, go ahead.
Of course. And you see there's quite a large amount of vineyards out in the distance. There are little homes as well of other people. And when you sort of arrive your shuttlecraft at a personal landing pad, the governor comes out and welcome. Thank you for coming in so quickly. We have much to do, and I'm afraid little time to do it if this disaster's to be. And with that, she kind of points to the general valley. She says, I'd recommend checking in with the Mackey family first. They're just down the road from me, but their son has been affected the most by whatever the situation is. But afterwards, I also recommend looking at the vineyard themselves. One of our one of our best vineyard workers, Saria, is out there, and she'd be able to tell you more than I.
I'd like to ask her for how long this has been happening.
Well, didn't start noticing it until a few weeks ago, but presumably the situation might have been going on for months without us noticing.
And is the, I guess, rate of time acceleration or rate of aging, is it staying steady or has it been increasing noticeably?
We are not entirely sure. We can only hope that it's staying steady.
And then I'd like to ask her about how old the kid is.
Oh, well, From what I understand, their child should be 6 years old now, but he has no comprehension of what a 6 should have. I would
Mm,
recommend asking the Mackleys directly.
okay.
My humble resources are at your disposal. Hopefully, you'll be able to find us.
Lieutenant Highland.
He looks at you.
Uh, would you recommend going straight to the family, or would you want to do your own sweep of the area?
Would you recommend that we have me hang back and do a sweep?
Commander Takara, your thoughts?
I don't think any of us should go anywhere alone.
We do not know what causes this, huh?
Right, and it seems by Sarita's description that this phenomenon is not uniform,
Mhm.
or whether there are hot spots on the planet or somehow people are being affected at different rates. So the last thing that we need is for, if you're on your own, if you fall into a pocket of advanced aging and, you know,
Yes, I concur. It is quite interesting that they have said this phenomenon has only been noticeable for a few months, and yet they have children here. If the rate of increase were steady across the planet, then surely any newborn infants would have been aged into teenagers by now.
right, I think we need more information. I'm
Yeah.
assuming that our prior system scans and planetary scans, I'm assuming that would have covered like checking the atmosphere for any biological phenomenon. Okay.
While we're walking over to the family, would it be possible for us or someone to use a tricorder to try and get more information regarding the interference?
In this case, you'd just be scanning the air, which is what you already did.
Yeah,
So you
fair
have to be
enough.
a bit more specific of what you're.
Well, once we get to the kid, we should probably scan the kid.
Absolutely do.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So as you show up to the because you're all going together, right? So as you show up to the sort of the
Mhm.
side house where the Mackley family is, the three individuals and looks to be a small child that's being held and the man sort of comes up to everyone. Says, "Oh, welcome to the Mackley home. My name is Wes Mackley. This is my wife Aurelia, and this is my son Efren." Right, and the child just kind of goes, "Yam yam yam." Yam."
Mhm.
Yes, I said, I'm thankful the Federation has sent, assumedly some of its best to come and help us here. Um, the Despite looks, Efren here, he is, he was only born 6 months ago, but you can already see he looks like a 6 months old toddler or small child now. We took him recently to the to our colony doctors, and they thought he had a symptom called Porogia, but when they tested him, he lacked any genetic markers for such. So we're left somewhat we're of course highly concerned about what this means for little Efren here.
And have there been any other children on the colony experiencing progerid symptoms?
That's the thing. It says no. It said only Efren here has been having this symptom so far. It says, but other adults apparently, from what we understand, have been suffering similar symptoms.
But not you.
I'm not entirely sure. I feel okay. And Aurelia still looks as the day I met her. Kind of waves. Trying to.
Would I be so bold as to ask if I could give you all physicals, perhaps take some samples so I can do some research back on our ship and see if we can detect anything different between you and your child? Kind of look at what your DNA versus theirs is, see why or like cells and if they're functioning differently, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, they like needles, but I suppose we're somewhat out of options. Pardon me. All right. So with that, they would consent to having some samples taken as long as there's not too much. Here, give me maybe a medical check. Because assumingly you're scanning them with your medical tricorder. Well,
Yeah, exactly. Taking the vitals. And difficulty what?
we're gonna go with actually, just go ahead and roll, and depending on what you get, information.
Okay. What's the one?
167. All right. So as you scan Ephron, and you take some basic samples from all three of them, your medical tricorder indicates that Ephron is a perfectly healthy 6-year-old physically, but his brain development is at a 6-month-old period. There doesn't seem to be any genetic disorders that your medical tricorder can pick up.
What about strange radiation?
There does seem to be a lingering sense of that interference in air that your ship sensor picked up, and your medical tricorder would not necessarily pick up, but somewhat, affected by.
Okay. Well, we'll take these samples back and see and look at the cells with our eyes and see how they're faring, and we'll get back to you with any information. Thank you for help, and I'll just take a couple little scrape the skin a little bit, a couple of hairs. Nothing too bad.
I'm gonna note as well that your medical tricorder can pick up that, despite Wes and Aurelia kind of saying to the contrary, they have also aged.
Interesting.
But evidently not at the same rate.
We were unable to tell from their
Unable.
samples.
May I ask, what is the child's diet like? What is the frequency of their diet, and
Oh yeah.
how much are they like? And what are they eating?
Oh, we generally share the same meals. As in, most of our stuff is homegrown here on the planet. A combination of fruits. We mostly stick to a semi-vegetarian diet. We get some protein shipments from colony shipments every once in a while, especially for our trade with the Ferengi.
Is Ephraim eating more than you would say is typical for a developing child?
No, I think it's relatively steady.
That's weird. Okay.
I assume when you say fruits, you're also talking about grapes.
Because we wouldn't necessarily our vineyard grapes that kind of our stock and trade.
Mm.
We have other fruits from regular
Are there any Ferengi merchants on the planet now, or do they have a place where they typically do business?
We send off our shipment second hand outside of the system. Really don't have Ferengi visitors. In fact, we don't have many visitors at all.
Where are shipments received?
In this case, it would be at the nearest starbase. So it would be starbase, or in this case, it would be called Deep Space 6.
Yeah, somewhere in deep space, probably out of the scope of the adventure. Where are they stored when they get to the planet?
The Latinum, or you mean like the stuff that they off?
The stuff that they're buying from other planets.
Oh, it says we generally keep them in storage space. We have several buildings dedicated to different types of storage.
And is this also where their harvests and stuff are stored?
Correct.
Okay. We should probably collect samples from there as well.
Of course, because our closest one down the road there. I have to warn you though, it's in somewhat of a state of disrepair.
Has it also been deteriorating faster than you would expect for a building of
yes.
its construction? Okay. All the more reason to go look at it.
Where would you guys like to go?
Captain, do you want to survey the farm now?
Yeah, probably should survey the farm and the warehouse.
Farm or warehouse first, or did you want to split?
Which is closer?
They're both about the same.
Warehouse and then farm, I think. Because the warehouse is like a centralized location where everything that's getting harvested and stored is, right?
Yeah, it's one. It would be one of them.
Okay.
Okay.
Unless there are objections.
You're the captain.
Okay.
Warehouse. Okay, so as you reach one of the warehouses, you notice that part of the building has been collapsed in. The outer shell is a faux wood veneer, but underneath is a prefabricated metal structure. A very simple examination of the warehouse shows that several of the support columns broke apart, and the entire structure might be in danger of collapsing. There are several barrels of stored wine as well as various food items in the building.
We should look at the support columns. They're rusting over, right? Like rusting through?
Yeah. Does anybody have the focus of engineering, by the way?
The focus engineering?
Or an engineering-related focus? This is, if you get more information or not.
I have ancient technology.
Okay, I'm gonna take that as a no then, so I'm not gonna tell you that. Okay. Yeah, so what would you guys like to
I mean, we can see that the columns are rusting through. I would like to gather some samples, or I would like us to gather some samples of that wine.
do? Absolutely.
First of all, I'm just gonna stick my finger in it and grab a taste. Does it taste like it is an aged fine vintage?
So, when you try to taste some of these wine samples, you notice that the taste is sour.
Perhaps overripened?
You can make a reason and science check.
Okay. Takara, do you want to scold the captain for impulsively sticking his finger in
that's
an
what I
anomalous
was
one?
Going to do. I mean, number one, for impulsively even walking in here before I've had a chance to fully inspect these columns, but especially doubly so for tasting this wine, which could be tainted or even simply spoiled.
I understand the risks, Commander Takara, but I happen to believe that one of the finest sensory instruments ever developed in all of Federation space is that of the mouth of any biological organism. It's kept us all alive so far.
Okay. In this case,
And speaking of, am I poisoned by this wine?
we're gonna get 2 points. You're not poisoned. What you come to the conclusion from tasting this wine is that it has turned naturally sour, indicative of time lapse.
Yeah.
Alright, so this entire crop may be spoiled for them.
May I inspect the columns and make sure that we're not going to die in here?
Absolutely. Make a reason engineering. What we would call it difficulty 1. You have a tricorder on you. Okay, yes, and you next time.
Wait, so if we got 2 points of momentum from the wine, was the DC on that 0?
Yes. Okay. So what you gather from the cans of the metal is that it's definitely due to aging. This metal fatigue would cause normally this building would stand over like 100 years, but causing it to more or less collapse within a year, give or take. It's not in danger of collapsing on you right now, but you feel that within the year it's just gonna fall apart.
At any point before we left to go see this building, did anyone mention how old the building is?
I'm going to say no, but you would get the sense that it's relatively sure.
Built within the
Well,
last
it-
couple of years.
Can't be older than 20 years.
Yeah. I just want to see how extreme the accelerated aging is within the building. And actually, can we scan again for that wavelength? The interference, now that we're in an area that is presumably just lousy with it?
I'm just gonna say that the interference is still there. It's still the same.
Okay.
Is the material of the structure? Yeah, I know you said the beams were of a metal, but is there anything organic that would be in the building material that we could take a sample of as well, like some wood or something?
There is the faux wood.
The faux wood would be like plastic, right?
Yeah,
Oh, that's technically organic, sort of.
sort of. But
Uh,
yeah, it's not really a natural
wouldn't be.
structure.
okay. That's okay then. If there's nothing that's organic material inside.
So that one of the vineyard workers kind of comes over. Soraya. She kind of looks over. She said, "Oh, are you the Federation member sent to help us? Governor was told us about to expect you all." She says, "Welcome to my portion of the vineyard." She says, "I see that you most of our storage houses are having the same effect."
Yes, and indeed, I must say that the wine has turned quite sour. About how recently was this building put up?
Oh, that building was put up within, let's say, the last 2, 3.
Well, based on our analysis of the structure, it seems liable to collapse within the year, and this particular class of prefabricated colonial warehouse should be rated to last nearly 100.
Don't quite understand what's going on. She said, in fact, our harvesting of the grapes have been particularly difficult this year. It should be prime harvest season right now, but the grapes, they appear to mature on a day, and then the next night they shrivel and are useless to us.
This building, have you noticed any sudden periods of accelerated deterioration? For instance, maybe it was totally fine one morning and liable to collapse the next?
Really couldn't tell. Suppose that one day we noticed that it just holding up anymore, and then it collapsed in. Haven't really bothered fixing it. Kind of out of our hands. We have resolved to store the wine, perhaps somewhere else.
Yes, I think that is a very fine idea. The only fringe benefit that I can see from your predicament is that your wine might perhaps be accelerating its maturation, but unfortunately I can attest that it is not successful in this regard.
Would you like to look at some of the grapes here? And she kind of goes up and some from the vines and quite shriveled. I'm actually going to activate the tricorders. This is what I was trying to fiddle around with the other night. It is semi-interactable, so go ahead and click on some of the
What?
device inputs.
Oh. They're not using herbicide. Or pesticide. Well, actually, never mind. I'm being stupid.
Yeah. I know what that means.
Yeah, that's kind of it. That's what I got for you.
That's fun. How long did they say that they have been trading with the Ferengi?
They said the trade for the Ferengi, if we can ask her, says it's been going on for quite a while now. It's nearly when the start of when the colony first started.
Oh, but it was only more recently that they signed a new trade agreement for the wine.
Oh no, the trade agreement was established quite early, actually.
Oh, okay. I must have misheard earlier.
When you started mentioning that, you hear a voice kind of come out from the distance. I know who's affecting the wine, and a very large man with crazy hair kind of comes out of the woodwork here. He's and she kind of Sarira kind of rolls her eye. She says, please be careful around Mr. Cornwall. He's quite eccentric. He says, I know exactly what's going on here. As just the other night, my name's Zane Cole, no, by the way. But just the other night, I saw Vulcans and Romulans sneaking about my vineyard. You see, the Romulans stealing my wine, stealing all the wine. They're causing this. They're stealing my grapes.
Oh?
Yeah. He says, my vineyard's just right over here next door. He says, I saw them. They're rooting around the dirt, doing something strange to the grapes.
Oh,
Can I
right
get-
now.
All right, now, last
Oh.
night, the night
Last
before
night.
that, and the night before that.
Lieutenant, can you get a read on this guy?
Well, yeah, I was about to say, I have a ability, my open book, that allows me to spend one momentum to immediately ask the game master one question about that character's current emotions or surface thoughts. Is that something that you all are wanting?
That'd be a good idea in
I
this
think
case,
so,
since
yeah.
he might be
the
lying on
conspiracy
purpose.
theorist.
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
yeah, he's
Go ahead and spend that momentum point. Go ahead and click on the.
okay. Just at the moment.
Alright. So, as far as his surface level thoughts are and his emotional state, you feel that he's absolutely convinced that this is the truth of the matter and this is what he saw. And he's 100% a believer of that there's no, you don't sense any deception. Math?
And he said his name was Zane.
Yeah, Zane Mole.
Well, very well then, Zane. Show us your vineyards. And I must say, if it is Romulans doing this, you should take it as the highest compliment. Have you tried Romulan ale? If they view your fine work as competition to theirs, well, that only speaks to the quality of your vineyard.
Why, thank you, Captain. Because even though Romulan ale is illegal, I take that as a compliment. And he kind of goes over to one of the side vineyards, and says, "As you notice, I do something slightly different than Saria over there. She deals in red grapes. Mine are white grapes, and they're also ruined because of those darn Romulans."
Captain, a suggestion. Do you think the farmer would be willing to undergo a mind meld? I would like to see what he saw and try to confirm his tale.
Mr. Knoll,
Oh yes.
my security officer here would like to perform a particular Vulcan ritual with you. Now, I know you have stated your distaste for this sort of thing. However, I assure you, my companion here is no friend of the Romulans, especially those that would steal such fine liquor and prevent it from going into the mouths of men and women and all others all across the Federation.
Make me a presence check I'm gonna go with difficulty 3. No, let's go with 2 because there are Vulcan colonists on the planet, so he's not totally like unfamiliar with Vulcans. But
All right. Presence is the attribute. What is the discipline?
it would be up to you of how you're approaching it.
Command, sort of as a
Absolutely.
trust me. I'm the captain of a Federation
Trust
starship.
me, bro.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. Would anyone want to assist, or is this a kind of solo go at it?
I would appreciate.
Oh,
assistance.
Actually, I am going to
can,
spend 2 points of threat just to say make it a difficult, because he does feel a little like, well, what do you mean? Well, don't touch me, kind of situation going on.
That's my advisor talent that whenever you assist another character using your command, the assisted character may reroll 1d20, so I can kind of come in and help be a presence in this command.
Yeah.
Maybe you're kind of calming him down a little.
Mm-hmm. And being like, hey, this is actually we're here to support you, and this is the best way to do that. So we're ultimately trying to get to the bottom of this as quickly as possible, and you could really be a hero and help us take care of this.
And is it the same spend 2 momentum to get an extra die?
You spend 1 momentum point and you would get 1 extra die. Then you can spend another 2 to get this.
Okay. So it's the same as in Fallout. Does anybody?
Rolling 1 die is the only difference for assist. Is that correct?
If you're assisting, you only get to roll 1 die.
Yeah, and then the complication range remains the same on
It
mine
remains the same,
as
yeah.
well. Then okay.
All right. And does anybody mind if I spend that momentum? Get another die.
Go for it.
Okay.
But you get a
3
free
successes and a complication.
All
You
right.
get a free reroll.
Oh, I get a free
You
reroll.
get a
So
free
can I
reroll,
reroll?
yes.
Party's assistance.
Wait, even if I don't pass, or I don't have successes?
Oh,
I
you have to
let me double
succeed?
check your thing. When you assist
Let me
another
see.
character using your command, yeah, you don't have to pass.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
All right. So I'm just gonna hit reroll and then reroll 1 die.
Yeah, reroll that 20.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's alright.
Well, I got rid of the
because-
complication.
Yeah, you got rid of
It's
the
still 3
complication.
successes.
That's just enough you need. So he's kind of hesitant. He's like, well, hey, it seems like you know what you're doing. Alright.
Trust me, Mr. Knoll, anything that gets this wine into my mouth faster and helps save the rest of the people of your colony will be greatly appreciated.
That, Wiggles, would you like to recite the Mind Meld Creed?
Oh, is there one written down here? I don't
There
know
isn't
it
one.
by
I'm sure
heart.
we can Google it really. I think it's literally just your mind to my mind, your thoughts to my thoughts. That's okay. We can just kind of extrapolate it as you know your hand on his face.
Yeah.
And, people everyone's just getting really kind of sweaty.
Yes. Calmness. Open your mind. Let's win this thing together.
One mind. So the kind of visions and memories and emotional state you kind of get is you get flashes of Romulans, fully dressed in Romulan clothing, digging in his vineyard. You see them taking samples of the grapes and putting them into like pouches before walking off into a nearby cliffside, and think that you see the cliffside kind of unraveling itself to reveal like an entryway, but you're not 100% sure. Then you kind of get like thoughts of like paranoia and how much better your grapes are to everybody else.
Okay, we've gone too far. We're getting too close here.
I'm happy that flattery was the correct course of action with this guy.
Do you need me to roll for that? It does say that it requires a task with difficulty of at least 1.
Yeah, you can go ahead and make a check. Just to see if you
Okay.
get more momentum. I think it's more fun if it just auto passes, but
Yeah, that's fair. Can I use my espionage focus with the that idea in mind that they're Romulans using stealth technologies.
You know, I'll say yes, sure. Go ahead and check off the focus box. Okay,
Oh.
there you go. So it would have worked anyway.
So I release him and I say, what was his name? Zane. Thank you. I appreciate your cooperation.
And then
We fully believe you.
yeah, Zane kind of straightens up a little bit and he says, "Of course, it's only logical."
That's correct, Zane. It's only logical. Thank you. I crack a smile.
So with that,
All right.
I'm gonna say that you guys don't need to make a roll to find this hole that Zane saw in his sort of memories, and you see a hole in his vineyard about 1 meter deep, about 0.25 meters in diameter, and you summarize that some kind of device was being used to take soil samples, and you do see several clipped grapes and what looks to be like tracks leading off into local cliffside.
I'm gonna stick my hand in the hole.
Uh,
Okay, it's like dirt, and your hand is now dirty.
Do I feel anything in there? They didn't leave anything?
They did not leave anything.
Well, I assume we have the ability to like grab and bag some of the soil, right? If they were analyzing it, I want it analyzed too.
Absolutely. The soil and throw it in your bag. Thing is kind of like eyeballing you, just like.
Mr. Zane, if the Romulans are interested in the soil of your farm, then I am too. The best way to defeat your enemy is to think like your enemy.
Yeah.
Oh, I suppose that's logical too. Trying to kind of very slowly get out of the mind meld. Okay,
All right.
yeah,
Does
we'll do
anyone
that.
want to do anything with this hole, or should we just follow Drax?
Oh, with the hole, no. But I was going to say, as we approach the cliffside, Captain, you and the lieutenant should stay behind Roy and myself. We could be going into the lion's den.
Nonsense, Commander Takara. I understand your concern, but as a captain, I must lead from the front and set an example to the entire crew. Boldness of action is what will win this day.
Mm-hmm.
I professionally disagree.
This is not the first scrape that we've got in together, and it is not, well, shall not be the last.
At least grant me this concession, Captain. Before you go running headlong, we should approach slowly and scan the area. I don't know if what I saw was perhaps a craft or a more permanent installation, but it does seem that there's some Romulan stealth technology in play here.
That does seem most prudent. Lieutenant Stoddy and Lieutenant Highland, do you concur?
I concur.
I'm no muscle. That's up to you all.
Ready to go.
So in that case, I'm going to ask then for maybe a science check or an engineering check from someone as you give that scan.
Ooh, I can do engineering.
I'm going to call it difficulty 1 because you already know there's something going on inside.
Can I assist using my intuition and my understanding of the history of wars between the Federation and the Romulans to use daring and engineering?
You know what? Sure. Yeah, maybe, right? Because you know where bases might be.
Yeah, and also I have a history focus, and
Okay. Yeah, okay, sure.
Would this just what's the complication range you said? 1
It's
or
just
2?
regular. 20. Alright.
that is 4 successes.
Successes, and I said, what was it 1 or 2?
You said 1.
1, okay, so that's gonna give you 3. Okay, yeah. So as you can scan the local cliffside, you do notice that there definitely seems to be an entranceway that's underneath Romulan cloaking technology.
right, Captain? What is
Aha! You have done it, Commander Takara. You have located the beasts.
Well, now, I mean, they're still sentient. So let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Well, they are not beasts in the literal sense, but I mean they're warbirds, their den, their nest.
Captain went from so cool to like, yeah!
Is that we sure he didn't mind meld the vein here?
Maybe it's an effect of this anomaly. Would we have any idea of whether the Romulan technology can induce this, or if it's like, some sort of radiation from their cloaking fields that could distort time?
I would say just historically, you've never heard or experienced any Romulan cloaking technology doing that.
It could be out of character. It could be the fucking red matter or whatever it was in the Kelvin movies.
Alright, small unit tactics. Let's approach slowly and quietly.
Okay. So, as you kind of approach the outpost, and now that you where it's there in the cliffside, you take off the entryway, and inside you notice that the base is very dimly lit. Overhead lights flicker. There's a smell of burning plastic and ozone in the air. You see that this is definitely a observation post of Romulan style. It also seems to be having lab equipment spread around. A lot of it has been destroyed, as if somebody's been trying to back the base as quickly as possible. And you guys can you guys can kind of go ahead and move around your tokens and click on the little doors to open them up.
I can't see anything on the map, so I'm going to be going on this in theater of the mind. Are there any Romulan ships still here?
You don't see any Romulan ships. Just the cliffside and getting into the...
I draw my phaser.
I do the same. And
So in the first room, I'm gonna say that...
Hold on. Drug. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna describe the room.
No, I heard someone talk, but I didn't hear enough of it to hear who talked.
Green.
No, I was just going.
Wasn't me.
That you said that it looked like things had been sacked. That we should maybe be documenting if they had been doing something here and left in a hurry. That means that something's coming to fruition, or they know that they're gotten onto. So they may try to destroy this further once they've completely removed. So we should be documenting this as we go for diplomacy efforts after we leave.
Yes, I concur. I concur, Lieutenant Steady. If the Romulans are behind this, then either this is of their design, or they have messed up and they are trying to cover their tracks.
Yes, also from this point on, nobody splits up, nobody opens a door without my eyes on it.
And speaking of, I'm going to draw my phaser and I'm going to get off to the side of the door and get ready to open it up when we're all ready.
Yeah, after Jeff describes this room.
So in the first room, there are two doors, one that goes north and one goes south. Both seem to be locked. Oh, not locked, they're both closed, apparently. So you kind of have to make a decision to go north or south.
Captain.
Well, my gut says south.
As you open the south door, you enter a long hallway with 6 doors along the opposite wall and a 7th door at the far end of the hall. Each of the doors is labeled with a number in the Romulan language. The 7th door on the far end seems to have name written underneath it in Romulan.
We should be probably going down the hallway and cracking open the doors to make sure there's nothing interesting behind them.
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do. I Well, I guess focus wouldn't come into play right now because we're not actually rolling anything. But with that in mind, yeah, Roy and I will be sort of systematically clearing each of the rooms as we go down the hallway.
Yeah, seems fun.
Clear.
Oh, wandering monster check. Oh no.
So as you're clearing out these rooms one by one, you notice that the rooms have been evacuated as quickly as possible. They've left behind their belongings. When you get to the fourth room,
Drog, before you carry on the description, these first 3 rooms, were they like obviously barracks or dormitories or sleeping places?
I'm gonna put a pause right there because we the sorry. Yeah. So these are look to be like barracks as sleeping.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many? Based on those first 3 rooms, like, could we get a sense of how many Romulans were probably stationed here? Was it one person to a room, or was it multiple people to a room?
I think it might have been multiple people. Maybe
okay,
two,
but they
two
didn't
to-
leave, like-
I think maybe about 2 to a room.
Okay, so they left like beds or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So on the fourth door, as you open it up, you are kind of surprised as you see 2 Romulans in the fourth room there. Both of them with disruptors drawn on you. They seem to be have been expecting you, as in they're kind of using their beds as like cover. And then one of them yells out at you and he says, "Stop! Stop right there, Federation scum. Don't get any closer."
Hold on, Romulans. We have our starship orbiting around this base, and we are willing to sacrifice our lives to save these people here. Unless you lay down your weapons, we are willing to call in an orbital strike.
And we value our lives so much that we wouldn't run that risk. Because you are the ones in our presence of our base, and we have weapons drawn on you. Yeah, so did you want to make this a kind of a charisma command check? Or presence check?
Yeah, I would like
Okay.
to make a presence command check. Does anyone want to assist me in any way?
I want to do a. I want to help with a reason command to tell you that, like, if these are 2 people alone, they're probably here to distract us while other people are leaving, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
And you said the complication was what?
Complication?
Drog?
Wait, am I assisting with your role?
You can actually
I-
assist the
also-
roll. I'm just saying that I'm adding in some threat here with trait the scene. I'm gonna call it paranoia, and it's gonna make this a lot more difficult. So I'm gonna say we're gonna need a difficulty of 4 for them to consider surrendering.
How many people can assist? Just one, or
Technically, as many people can assist as I think it's up to 3. You just have to give proper reason.
Oh, I didn't help in any way. I did though. Sorry, you go ahead and roll, and then.
All right. I think as many people that I think probably this is a situation where everyone should assist. Does
Can I
anybody
do, like,
object if I spend 3 momentum?
Oh no! Please go. Can I do control and security as an assistance?
And then
You can justify it.
I guess just the trying to sell the seriousness and the presence of their current situation.
Yeah, broad shoulders standing there
Yeah,
intimidating.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Yeah, both of us.
Security officers kind of there first if your face was also drawn on them.
and that complication die for the captain can be re-rolled since I have my advisor.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, avoid that complication if you.
Hey, that complication
okay.
turned into a
And
success.
That's gonna turn into a bonus momentum. Okay, yeah, you know what? I'm going to say that, yeah, that's a little bit more than enough. So there's a little bit of a tense standoff between you two, between you 4 and those 2, where you'll have your phasers drawn. You're kind of yelling at each other, right? And then after a while, the Romulans sort of look at each other. They say, We're not fools. We know you have us outnumbered, Federation. Then we demand the regular treatment of prisoners of war. They'll surrender, right? That
Of course, the Federation values the lives and the lives and rights of all sentient beings.
Very well. And then they put away their destructors. Paranoia is a scene trait, so that's gonna still be in the air. So that's gonna affect future
Okay.
rolls.
Yeah.
Romulans.
We should probably cuff these guys if we have
I will
cuffs.
take care of that, Captain. I am the Chief of Security, so I'll make sure that they are disarmed and pass off the weapons to Roy and start cuffing these guys. Are we able to transporter beam them out if I take them out the front door or something?
Yeah, the transports are still working. Want to interrogate them all, or are you just gonna go straight up and?
We should probably ask them if there are any other Romulans still in base first.
Okay. So, you ask him that. One of the Romulans steps forward. He says, I am Sub-Commander to talk. I am in charge of this station. There may be other stragglers left nearby. Most of us have already evacuated. Left over to clean up the whatever was left.
And what type of stuff is that? What even was your purpose here?
There's only one outpost here. We were observing these colonists out of a sense of curiosity of whether they would infringe upon the neutrals. Atani, do you have to make any rolls for your empathy stuff, or is it automatically just sort of?
So I can, like I said, I can spend momentum to do open book, but empathy is a regular roll. And you set the difficulty
Okay.
based on the
Gotcha.
factors.
If you're gonna make an empathy, listening in on this, I'm gonna call it difficult one.
Okay. I don't want to shoot myself in the foot, but does the paranoia make that too?
I'm gonna say no in this case.
Okay. And
The
this would
paranoia
be...
wouldn't cloud their mind or whatever.
Not for this particular what he's feeling.
Okay.
I think insight and medicine, science. I don't know what this falls under.
I would say either science or medicine, or even command.
Okay, we'll say command because I'm aware of them as a opposition, and so that's kind of like looking at it strategically. And 1, and then roll 0. I am not great at my rolls today, guys.
Oh wow. Okay. So
They seem like great guys.
yeah. So the emotional vibe you're getting from these guys is just like hatred, distrust.
Well, they're Romulan soldiers.
Yeah.
Their thoughts are guarded.
But yeah. So
I'm
he kind of
going
continues
to
on.
criticize them
I'm sorry.
for saying that if they were so concerned about whether the colony would disrespect the neutral zone, yet you disrespected yourselves to come over here and spy or do whatever. Are you even aware of, the medical conditions going on this planet?
Give me a presence check. Difficulty 3 because of the paranoia.
Presence what?
In this case, maybe science, or possibly even medical, because calling him out on observing the colonists. Using logic. Monk isn't.
You might be instead, if it's better Wiggles, based on that rationale, roll Reason Command.
It's too late. I
Yeah.
just rolled presence medicine.
No, the sub commander's kind of blocking you, and he just says, I don't know what you're talking about. Any colonists so close to the neutral zone is a concern. Now, I would request that we be treated as prisoners of war and brought to your brig.
I'm sure you would want to go there immediately. Can I check their persons and make sure that they don't have any hidden devices or anything?
Absolutely. Disarming them, they both have one disruptor pistol. You could tell that they're actually wearing science officer uniforms, so they're not necessarily made for fighting.
Right.
We will honor your request to be treated as prisoners of war per Federation bylaws. However, as this seems to be ultimately a local matter, I believe that the local town will be more than capable of providing you adequate accommodations in their brig.
Very well then. Murder whatever it is your Federation logic. I'm going to deposit then the kind of on the outskirts here, as presumably you give them over to Zane.
Yeah.
Zane kind of comes in and goes, I knew it! I knew it!
I mean, I don't want to give them to Zane. I think I want to.
You know,
Presumably,
yeah,
there's like a jail.
He'll drag him to the
Romulan.
governor to, put in a proper bid.
Yeah.
Governor, look, I caught me a couple of Romulans.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, here we go. Captain, permission to proceed.
Granted, Commander.
Roy, on me.
Understood.
In 3, 2, 1. Let's open this door.
So the other two barracks are empty. So you put all there.
I want to ready my phaser and go up to the name plate that is written on the 7th door.
Gotcha. Okay.
With our universal translators or our academy knowledge or whatever, can we read it?
I want to say no, unless the only person who could even possibly read it is maybe Ara, sort of, Vulcans.
Commander Takara, did you happen to take any Romulan at the Vulcan Science Academy?
Science Academy. Listen, I didn't go to the Vulcan Science Academy. I learned my sciences in Starfleet. I grew up on a farm planet, much like this one, in fact.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's a good point. In fact, I'm gonna actually say no. You probably can't.
Yeah, that's fair.
So as you pop up in that room, you're nearly overwhelmed by the smell of burning plastic, and there's like kind of smoke everywhere. Every pad, every computer terminal, and even the subcommander room storage has been destroyed of a disruptor. It's just been completely ruined.
Alright, I'd like to get pictures of the nameplate and pictures of this room and the other rooms we've been to.
Then we can kind of back you guys back up to the main room. Only other places would. So in the northern areas, you see a dark corridor with flickering overhead lights. Red light glows underneath each metal grate in the floor. Directly ahead of you is a door of smoke billowing out. To the left of you is another door, one being closed. And the corridor turns to the right where you see two more doors. Each door is closed and has Romulan writing on it. You got kind of like 4 rooms, give or take.
Roy, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Alright, door number 1.
Phaser's drawn.
Thick plumes of smoke billow out of the smoldering remains of a large desk. The room appears as though a bomb was set off in it, and furnishings have burn marks and terminals are smoking as they continue to melt down. The scent of burning plastic and melted metal burns your nose. A quick study of the room suggests that it served as the outpost command quarters.
Interesting. Seems we're just too late for...
If we go to the terminals, does it look like there's any salvageable parts from any of the computers that we might be able to take back with us?
This particular room looks like it's just all been melted down. Like,
Okay.
All right. These next two rooms.
Door number 2. I would like to kick down the next door.
Okay.
Get in front of the security officers.
Captain.
Alrighty. So this next room here. Right. This door is locked. And when you try to kick it, it actually. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's the smoke door. So that door's completely full of smoke. It's completely ruined as well. You have smaller doors here. As you kick open the next door, you see a small logistics room where there's small terminals and wrecked by destructor fire. There are some damaged pads and smashed equipment.
I'd like to collect the pads.
These pads have been broken beyond repair.
Okay, then I would like to not collect the pads. I would like to comment that Romulans are very thorough in covering their tracks.
Okay, the next door is locked.
Okay, before I do something impulsive, does anybody want to do something first?
Yes. Can I was wondering if I could do some sort of engineering check to try to overcome the lock.
Yeah, you absolutely may. Give me a difficulty 2 engineering. I gotta pick the lock here.
Permission to spend momentum.
Yeah, go ahead. We always can make it back. I just like to make sure that,
Oh my goodness.
Want to assist?
Oh, I guess I did need to.
Can I try and force the lock open with fitness and engineering, or fitness and security?
Yeah, fitness and security, absolutely. I'll call it a 2 as well.
One
Oh
success.
man.
I would like to shoot the door with my phaser.
Okay, yes, you can absolutely do that. Damage just kind of works one way, so you don't even need to make a roll for that. As you phaser the door and it just kind of bursts open.
Yeah, it disintegrates.
Yeah. As you enter in, you see that it's mostly been destroyed as well. Computer terminals have holes in them where disruptors were shot. You do see what looks to be one working pad, though, as you kind of scavenge through the office.
Who is the best person in the party with engineering?
Maybe.
Is that Lieutenant Stoddy? No, it is
I have
not.
no engineering.
Yeah.
I have 4 in engineering.
I'm going to hand the pad off to Commander Takara. What do you make of this, Commander?
Give me a science check.
Wait, science, not engineering?
It could be science or engineering, actually.
Oh, okay. Lieutenant Atani, do you want to assist with this, with your science?
I can assist with the science, sure.
We're all just going to be crowded around this
Yeah,
iPad,
this
trying to
pad
get
is
it
like
to boot.
slowly flickering. Difficulty 2. Okay.
Damn you, Apple updates install!
Okay, and then go ahead and make that assistance. Thanks a moment. Oh. Okay, yes. So, you get to see what looks to be the journal entries of the sub-commander Delok, who is the one of the Romulans you actually captured, and he mentions here that we've arrived at Morgan's Hope in order to find information on these strange readings that we've been getting. Especially, we've been paying especially close attention to the ones they call the Mackleys, child. We've already been here for 2 years, and things have only started shifting relatively recently. Because current hypothesis is that there might be tachyons in the air that are affecting the time dilation of this outpost for certain individuals. Because our investigation leads us to believe that the source of these tachyons might be near the 10th planet in the system, Arena 10. Because we don't know the exact cause. We have not sent a ship yet. We are hoping that Commander Malak can reinforce us before we investigate. If this is what we believe it is, then it is possible that Federation's weapon will be ours.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Did you get all that, Captain?
Affirmative, Commander. Do you suppose that it is all likely that our captured Romulans know anything about this? Personally, I suspect it is not.
Well, I thought he just said that the data slate was records
One of them.
from one of those scientists.
Oh, did he? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, then I suppose we have some follow-up questions to ask our friends at the town jail.
Yes, after
Could we also?
clear this building. Sorry, please go ahead, Lieutenant.
Sorry, no, I was just going to say, and we should probably report back to somebody higher up about these developments.
Well, hold on there. These Romulans seem to be suspecting that this could be ultimately caused by a Federation weapon. I think it would be pertinent in the interests of international peace that we do not mention this to higher-ups yet until we have more evidence.
As you command, Captain.
There are still 2 more rooms in this hallway.
Yes, I would like to continue our search to the next room.
So as you look at these, the next set of doors, you notice that there's 2 sets of heavy doors, much like an airlock, with some with a little tiny window, indicative of the double set going on here. And as you pass through, you see several sensors, several sensors along the wall that are non-functional. Unlike the rest of the base, this room is completely. It has not been touched. Nothing is damaged. You see no disruptor burns. Room has its own little power supply sitting in the corner as well. It is still on, but the console is off. You see a sturdy square table with the length and size of an average human in the middle, and several conduits hang from the table that lead back to the computer console and a fusion reactor, likely attached to a device of some kind.
Interesting. I don't take it any of us recognize this. Is it I can't tell if this is medical or not.
If you want any checks to figure stuff out, it would be probably science or engineering. It would give you different stuff.
Okay,
Well, I
do
suppose we should probably start sweeping the room, yeah? I'm sorry.
it. No, go ahead.
If you want to go ahead and make that science check, I can assist, and I imagine Takara can assist.
Okay, so
Yeah.
a
Takara
science
can't assist.
and a
but-
reason.
Yeah, reason, science. Go ahead and roll. The difficulty will change depending on what you get, like what information you get.
Okay, so leave it at 1 then.
I'm sorry.
What do you mean? Wait, so wait, no, so
Go
you're
ahead,
saying
you-
leaving it at
You
1?
can make a reason and science check. I'm just saying the I'm not going to tell you the difficulty because
Okay.
Drog, to assist, how would I have to justify it in order to
Uh,
use a science with control or daring or fitness? But probably daring.
good question. I'm not sure.
Okay, so I would like to survey the room and start booting some of the terminals and just
Okay, yeah, sure.
going
Maybe
through
you're
their
literally
files and
just kicking
stuff.
the
Yeah.
computers. Get them
Yeah,
lowered.
yeah. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm just, I'm poking stuff without thinking through it first,
Sure. Okay.
which I imagine has the failures on this will be worse than
Yeah.
if I
Let's
did
go with a
something else.
complication range of maybe 18.
Oh my god!
Normally it's 20,
18?
normally it's 20, right? Or is it 1?
It's normally 1.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. So that would make it. 3.
Okay, opposite. Okay,
Complication
good.
Range of 2.
Yeah.
All right, and this is an assistance, so
Okay. Cool. All right.
I'm also gonna do an engineering check to inspect that fusion reactor.
All right. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh
Oh
my word!
no. Okay. Okay. I got it. So. you guys
okay. So
are-
fusion reactors don't explode, so we're fine on that front.
Okay. Okay. So let me tell you what you go. Let me go top down. What happened? So, you guys restart the computer, and you kind of read through it. Luckily for you, you were able. They wrote a lot of this stuff in Universal Translator is able to kind of figure out what most of the stuff is saying.
Yeah, they
And-
just wrote it in English for our
Yeah,
convenience.
just for your convenience, plot convenience. So basically, this computer is dedicated to a single device used to detect, measure, and track tachyon emissions. And this particular device is more advanced than anything the Federation has in terms of tachyon tracking. And it might be the way how the Romulans were able to detect tachyon emissions from the Carina 10, which is
Yeah,
correlates
10th
to what you
planet.
read on that pad, and why your own sensors weren't really able to figure it out. You also notice that this particular room, the way it's been designed, you think that it's been designed to keep out tachyon. It filters out most subatomic particles with the exception of tachyon. So it's basically the whole room is almost like a device used to detect tachyons. As far as the engineering task goes, you guys kind of, as you're going through this and you're getting this information, you hear a very audible click from the next room, the one you haven't explored yet.
Captain, get down!
And when I hear that, I jump up and grab my phaser and run towards the danger.
Daring!
Okay. We are going to start combat then. Captain Marco Rosso runs in. So combat's just like Fallout. You know, it's one person goes on the good team, one person goes on the bad team. You can always spend momentum to try to double up your initiative, essentially. Right? Unlike Fallout, combat is a little bit more static in the sense that you make a check with your weapon, and if you pass, then the damage is sort of done to your stress. And when you run out of stress, or if you choose to, you gain an injury and then you're out of the scene. So there's not nearly as much granularity. It's sort of like much more
That makes
binary.
sense. It's Star Trek, not Fallout.
Yeah. So with this being said, you get the first go here, but you see two Romulans here. One of them has a device in his hand that he's like fiddling around with. The other one has his disruptor drawn, kind of ready for you. I guess he wasn't necessarily expecting you to come in so quickly, so you kind of get the first shot here.
All
So you
right,
get
so
first
what do I roll
initiative.
for a shot? I imagine I can use daring based on how I went into this situation.
So
Otherwise, is it
you can go ahead and
just
click
I-
on the belongings, phaser type 2. It's just like the
Okay.
system, right? Double right click the I think you want to aim at. A little circle.
All right, so I clicked on the phaser and something popped up in the chat.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. It's a little different. Right, there are no rolls, so to speak. Let me double check. This is considered to be a personal conflict, and how to make attack. Right. Choose a weapon and a target. This is a ranged attack. Any attack you can see. You make a control plus security task with difficulty of.
Okay, control plus security. Okay. One success.
In this case, that would be a difficulty of 2. You actually miss your shot as it goes wide. Now it would be Romulan's turn, unless one of you guys want to spend momentum to initiative.
No, but I just wanted to say that I wanted to declare Captain as my who I'm protecting. So if Captain gets attacked, they would have to attack me instead. If that works.
So Romulan turned. Romulan is.
Oh, I was going to ask if y'all minded if I spent momentum.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
no, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to. Seeing this other guy with the device, I wanted to try to rush to him and nerve pinch him.
Okay, yeah. So we spend 2 momentum in order to retain the initiative, so that you get to go. And yeah, you run over to this other Romulan who's got this device in his hand. What to do?
And so I'm going to give him a Vulcan nerve pinch, and I'm using applied force, which allows me to roll fitness security rather than daring. And
Absolutely.
then the nerve pinch will just inflict stun with a severity of 3 and the intense quality.
Excellent. Okay. So you still have to roll a. You still have to make that roll
Yes.
against.
I'm going to use a hand-to-hand combat focus.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it was a intensity.
Yes, severity of 3 with the intense quality, and it inflicts stun
Okay,
injuries.
so what happens with the intense quality is that you can spend momentum to increase your severity, but you don't have any more momentum.
No.
But you did just bank one because it's only difficult. You like to spend that momentum you just banked in order to increase severity.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
So then that's gonna go up to a severity of 4, which is the equivalency of damage, which means go from 11 to so you hit him, but doesn't knock him out quite. But you can see he's like kind of doubling over in pain as he's holding the device in his hand. But
You know, I don't think I've ever seen a Star Trek episode where somebody resisted a nerf pinch.
did stun him though, so he's not
Yeah.
being able to like do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the older system, I think stun was like really open. I mean, not stun, pinch, so I tried to make it a little bit more like a finisher. Right, yeah. So
That's also fair. Spock always comes in with a nerf pinch right as the fight's ending. Usually because he ends the fight.
and then yeah, the right, that's right. So stun and they, it's not a trait quality. It's whether or not how deadly you want the attack to be. So stun would just would make us a person. But okay.
Yeah.
All right. So then it would be the Romulan's turn after that. Romulan at the doorway, you'd probably shoot at Captain here.
But the bodyguard's ability.
Step in!
Yes. So then
Probably not the first time Highland has had to do this.
Highland jumps
Yeah.
in the way. Oh, actually, he has a rifle on. I have to spend threat though, which I will do absolutely. As his rifle comes out and
Ooh, that hurts.
daring. Only one success, so he actually missed.
Ah,
Got
well,
lucky.
thank goodness.
Then it's back to you guys. So Roy and Johnny, one of you can go.
Oh my god. I'm sorry.
I could go, I suppose.
You have better fighting, probably, so you go on ahead.
Yeah, unless you wanted to do something, is what I mean. Alright, well, I was gonna shoot at the guy trying to shoot the captain.
Absolutely. So that would just be a fitness. Daring security. Double check my.
You said it was command security when I rolled.
Ranged attack is a.
Control. Didn't you say
Control.
control
Control
security?
That's what I get. I get control and command confused.
Yeah, control security.
Is this small unit tactics at all? Since I am moving around and maneuvering, I
I
don't
would
know.
actually call it small unit tactics. So you can off a focus. One success. You also miss.
Really? I have so many points too.
A default of the little phaser effect applied. Okay. That puts us back to the other ramen. The other ramen is trying to fiddle its device, despite having literally a Vulcan like just grabbing on his neck. I will give him a penalty. That was good. So luckily, he's not able to quite set the fiddle around with the device because of Takara's nerve pinch on him. That will leave Atani. You're the last one in this round. Everyone's kind of loading into this room, and all this chaos is happening really quickly.
So Atani's not super into this violence thing. They're all about the diplomacy. Would it be possible, like in the chaos of all this, to run up and try and like get the device from the man since he's?
Yeah, you can absolutely try to go for a disarm.
So
You're trying to like knock it out of his hand.
Yeah. So are we? What is that? Fitness and let me see
Yeah,
here.
either fitness, security, maybe daring, and maybe.
Yes.
This is kind of open up to interpretation because it's not a standard action.
Okay. Then yeah, we'll do that and wish for the best. And you said the complication is what?
It's just one, and then the difficulty 2. Yeah, just standard complication.
Sorry.
Oh no, it's a 1. Yeah, so you don't quite get it out of his hand, as now we have Takar and Atani just sort of like around him, just struggling over the equipment. The action
Please
director
don't
is
make
getting
it
very
hard.
sweaty and nervous. Okay, fresh up though, it is your guys' turn, and you get the pick.
I shall lead by example and shoot the one with the rifle. Unless anybody
Run
wants to
behind
go
me.
first.
You better be behind me. I'm not out of character.
Well, it's a fight. I'm very Kirk-like, very mobile.
Okay, yeah, so you're trying to shoot the one who shot you?
Yeah, I want to shoot the one with the rifle because I think the one that has the mystery device is probably under control.
Okay. And are you setting your phaser to stun or deadly, by the
Stun.
way? Stun.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I assumed it was stun for everybody, because deadly adds a little... Sending it to kill adds some extra... Okay, in that case, yeah, so we are going back to... attack mode, which... Roll plus security. Did you want to use a minor action to aim?
Oh, yes. What does that do?
It would just give you a single reroll. Die.
Cool, I would like to do that.
Because I forgot that in the cheat sheets, you guys are allowed like infinite minor actions.
Oh my god, I turned that complication into a success. Captain
Yeah.
spoiling for a fight. Del Rosso has shot something.
That is. Okay, yeah, you actually hit him. He's still up, but you got a good clean shot on him. Now his turn. Didn't have any banked successes. Going to try to shoot at you again, which in case Roy would jump in front of you.
That is correct.
Missed. Alright,
Ha!
back to you guys.
We do make quite the pair, don't we, Mr. Highland?
Though I would suggest to stay behind me after all. Captain? I can go.
Okay.
Still the same thing? Same roll?
Yeah, okay. Did you want to aim? Get a reroll.
What was the aim? It just uses an action instead of movement, right?
So if you look on the cheat sheets, basically...
Yeah, minor and major again?
Minor actions are more or
Yeah.
less infinite. Major actions you only... Unless you spend momentum.
Yeah. I would like to aim them.
Okay.
What is that? That just lets me roll a die, as you said, right?
And then you.
Oh, it looks like I got 2 successes anyway.
That is what you need.
Cool.
As so you hit another 4. Yeah, he is looking really hurt. About to pass out.
Maybe you shouldn't shoot anymore.
And the Romulan, he is still fiddling with that device.
Can he fiddle when he's fighting me for it?
That's a good point. If you're kind of wrestling over, I'm gonna make it a difficulty 4 for him.
Ooh.
That's so many people, but I will spend a point of threat to him.
And threat is basically momentum, but for the NPCs, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a squat. All right.
I mean, he's being grappled by 2 people.
Yeah.
Vulcans, at least, are really strong. I don't know about Betazoids.
Yeah. So Tani or Takara, who would?
I'll go ahead and try to Vulcan neck pinch him again.
Okay, absolutely. That would be a daring. Oh, sorry, you got your.
Yeah,
Vulcan
my
neck
fitness, security, or even with the nerve pinch, I may choose to use science or medicine instead of security, but I'm using security. I'm also using my hand-to-hand focus.
Oh, look at that.
What's up?
Bank of momentum. That would be. Put in. Want to spend a point to put him into the.
No, I'll leave it. I'll leave it for the next people.
Still resisting, but he's very, very close.
God, what is this guy?
Romulans
One
are
of
done,
those.
so that actually goes straight to a ton.
Well, I mean, I know we're struggling, but we're only like a damage point away from. I might. Oh, okay. I guess maybe I'll do an unarmed strike.
Okay. That would be fitness. That would be daring plus security, but difficulty 1.
Oh man, this was not the choice to make, but here we are. It's a difficulty 1.
Difficulty 1.
Oh, well, at least there's that.
Okay.
Will Lieutenant Stoddy be requesting reassignment to a different ship after this?
Is that bad?
Less violent. Okay. As you kind of sock him in the face, I'm gonna say that should be enough that he. I'll take him out for this. That should be enough as he collapses.
We said
Sucker
down.
Punch him.
Impressive!
Oh!
Fresh turn. The top of the round. It's you guys. You still got the one with the disruptor rifle.
Shoot! It's done.
Like to take that shot then, Captain?
I would. And I succeed.
4 points is enough to knock this one out as well. Congratulations, you survived your first combat situation.
Hey!
No problem.
Excellent work, everyone. I believe we should escort these to their brig as well.
The device that the Romulan was fiddling with after having a moment to rest, noticed that it looked to be an explosive device, and he was trying to set it to one of the power supplies for the base, and it likely would have taken out the entire base if properly allowed to arm.
And us too, in the fight.
Oof.
Okay, with that being said, the Romulan outpost situation.
I'd like to grab that bomb too, just in case.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys kind of find yourself back in Morgan's Hope as, Romulans. Otherwise, the floor is up to you guys of what's your next. As a reminder, the information you found at the base was that you found a immense tachyon emissions coming
Yeah.
by planet.
Lieutenant Stoddy, do you want to talk to our prisoners?
I absolutely can. I guess.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm just offering a suggestion if that is something you want to do. Do not feel obligated.
Well, it feels like we have the intentions of the Romulans from the computers, and they're
Yeah.
going to want to fight us on any information beyond that.
Mhm.
I guess the most that we would know is we could ask for is like what they're trying to get at, but as far as like how far they've gotten information back home or what their next moves are. But right now we have access to the computers, or we can get all the information that they have in that main
Yeah.
computer they're trying to blow up. So I think that would be a more
So, in that case, then I think we should have some NPCs from the ship do like a standard interrogation, and then we'll go off and do the exciting adventure on the 10th planet, unless
Okay.
anybody objects.
Absolutely. Yeah, and
Oh.
I'll be honest. Like most of the information you guys found would be the information confirmed by the sub commander here anyway.
I'm sorry, I think you got interrupted. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say most of
No,
the
no,
information.
no, not.
Oh,
Grog,
no,
go
no,
check
no,
back.
no. I hadn't fully formed the thought, so please go
Oh,
ahead.
okay.
okay, so yeah, we can extrapolate it. And just so Wiggles, just so you know, it wasn't a anti-tachyon room. It was more like a pro-tachyon room.
Oh, I misunderstood. So the
Oh,
shield
I thought-
was to keep it in the room. I thought it was to
Yeah,
keep
it,
it
it
out.
blocked out everything except tachyons because they wanted to isolate tachyons.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like I had understood from the description that it was like oh god, what are those electrical cage things? I thought it was like basically that, and it was keeping the
variable
tachyons out.
Yeah, right. That was my impression at first, but then looking into it more, what they actually mean is that they're trying to calibrate it so that it focuses on just tachyons.
Oh, but it's
Yeah.
still like they're. Yeah, because I forgot the whole point. They want to funnel the tachyons there to make their sensor more
Yes.
sensitive, so
Mhm,
that they
mhm.
can use it to locate these types of things. Okay, that makes
Okay,
sense.
yeah, that makes sense.
But we should turn that off before we go.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that.
And should we all be do a body scan to see
Oh,
if we've been affected by any
I was
tachyons in our
going to
aging?
suggest scanning the child again too, just to get the measure of the frequency. Or
The rate.
I think in order of operations, Lieutenant Stoddy should probably scan us as we're leaving the place, and then we should go check the kid.
So I'll summarize. The child seems to still be aging at a steady rate. Expect that he would probably die of old age in about 100 months. At the current rate.
Wow, that's
as you guys return to the
unfortunate.
Bellerophon properly, and go to medical to check yourselves for tachyon and missions and rate of age, you all find that you've aged about 3 years, give or take.
Oh. What?
Yes. This is why I
Oh!
said we should be careful about how long we stayed down there. Not to stay down there too long.
And Star Trek
Out.
doesn't have a cure for that, does it?
Not necessarily. This Star Trek, who knows? And I'm gonna
The
say
age-
more or less too, because it kind of differs per each. Well, I think the humans would have gone a little bit less, so more like maybe like half a year, but no.
Okay, so the amount of aging was somehow proportional to the
Yeah.
lifespan of the species.
Right,
Just
in this
like
case,
scrolls in AD&D.
Yeah, so it's aging the body.
yeah. So what's your call? Break to attend.
I mean, I guess at this point, we haven't found any indication that the Romulan suspicion that this was a Federation weapon was correct, have we?
That is a good question. How would you like to follow it up?
I would like to check my terminal or whatever that I have and see if I have access to any classified or semi-classified things, or if I can maybe break some rules and hack into the ship's computer or whatever network the Federation has.
Yeah,
If
sure,
that's
you
a
can
thing.
double check your computer for mentions
Yeah,
and weapons in the area. So
I'm assuming that's going to be like a control engineering or something, or con.
as you punch it into your computer, you do find some records that seem to be related, but they are currently under security protocols. You would have to give me assuming that you are committing to hacking it, you would have to give me a reason engineering difficulty 2.
Okay, let's see. Well, my career events are required to take command and then called out as superior, so I imagine I'm not like super popular amongst higher ups in the Federation, Starfleet. So I don't think I can do another approach and try and call in a favor or anything. So yeah, I guess I'll try hacking it. You said control engineering?
Reason engineering.
Reason engineering. Oh, that's especially bad for me. Yeah, I don't think that Mark Del Rosso believes that he has any reasonable chance of succeeding in this. And he doesn't want this particular black mark on his record.
Okay. Alrighty. Floor's open up again. What would you guys like to do? Otherwise, we'll head.
Should we
Play cards!
check?
Sorry, it's just because it was so silent.
I was going to say, should we check like Federation records to see if there is any installation on the 10th planet out here that belongs to the Federation?
Oh yeah, that's smart. Can we just run a check of all Federation outposts in this sector or whatever and see if there's anything that comes up on this planet?
Yeah, that's fairly easy enough to do. There's no checking it. There would be no base recorded out here. Closest one would be Deep Space 8, and that's far away.
Yeah, and also in the middle of interstellar space, I assume. Well, the DS9 wasn't.
And should we be scanning for like Romulan ships in this area if they're concerned about if they were researching this area, and suspect a Federation weapon, they might themselves be around there?
Absolutely. Near Karina 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a reason science check then. It'll say difficulty 1.
And
Can
then
I
should we be
assist-
using the... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask if I could assist with that by looking at a map of the planet and whatever might happen to be in orbit of the planet, and then going like, okay, if I were a Romulan, where would I be?
I'm not sure that would necessarily help in this case, but you do get a free assistant from the ship anyway.
Oh,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Okay.
And there
And
would
you
just be
said
sensors for
what complication rate?
regular, so just 1 complicated.
Okay.
Okay. Only need a difficulty
Then-
1 anyway, so we're good. Go ahead and roll for the ship.
And they're using sensors. What you said?
Sensors and science, I suppose.
Okay. There's.
All right. Ooh, momentum. Okay, yeah. So as you head over to Karina 10 and kind of try to scan for Romulan ships, they do have a cloaking system. Cloaking systems on, so it's kind of difficult. You don't pick up any Romulan ships, but you do pick up a very interesting signal. And as you get closer, go ahead and on screen here for you. You notice that it is an old class Constitution ship.
Constitution class, was that what the original Enterprise was?
Would be.
Okay.
It looks
Should we
fairly
hail?
damaged. And it says the USS Hamilton.
Do we see any life signs on it when we run those sensors?
Question. Yes, you will be picking up a couple of life signs.
So it seems like the life support systems are mostly intact then, at least in some places.
Unclear.
Alright, we should probably prepare EVA suits then and hop aboard, just like in, God, I want to say the Tholian episode.
I mean, have we tried hailing them?
Oh yeah, we should do that too, that's smart. Yeah, let's try hailing them first.
You try to hail them, you do not get a response.
Alright, well, we're gonna hop aboard then, I suppose, unless we want to do something else. And then I guess we can have NPCs continue to hail them while we're absent.
Okay. How do you want to... Sorry, go ahead.
So is there any interference, like the tachyon interference that we saw in our scans when we were scanning this ship?
Oh, absolutely. It is, in fact, like, almost unbearable. Like, it's really messing up your system.
Oh, okay, so then before we do that, I want to get some engineering guys up. Do we have... We jotted down, like, schematics or whatever of what we saw of that tachyon concentration room, right?
Presumably, yes.
Alright, can we get some engineering guys up here and then have Commander Takara roll, like, an engineering check and then me assisting with, like, a control engineering or a control command to try and, like, reverse engineer that so we can MacGyver together some kind of tachyon resistance thing?
Well, the room doesn't resist tachyons, it concentrates it.
Yeah, I know, we need to reverse the polarity of the neutron flow.
Oh, you want to make the opposite of that. I'm going to say it's going to be a difficulty of 4.
Is that a course that we think is worth pursuing?
Yes. Yeah, I can do a engineering. Should I spend some momentum to try to get this up?
I think it would be smart. Drog, if I want to assist on this, I want to do control by, like, you know...
I think control command
using
assistant 1 dice would make sense because you're kind of bullying the engineers to get it done.
Good, good, I am bullying them. They deserve it.
Do you mind if I
lame.
spend all of our momentum?
Yeah, go ahead. I think this is really important that we have...
Oh, okay, wow.
All hail Commander Takara, the most useful member on this roll.
Yeah, so, Takara, would you like to describe how your Vulcan mind, like, conceptualizes how to make this thing but opposite?
Yeah,
Yeah, so...
tell us how you Doctor Who this.
Yeah, well, I looked at what it did, and then it made the thing that didn't do that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, I built it from what...
I hear that laughter, Will. I hear him cackling. Sorry, it's because I hear him in the other room.
But yeah, essentially, you know, maybe make some... tune our ship's, you know, shields to the right frequency, maybe get something on our uniforms or...
Yeah, describe to me the device. Is it something like pocket size? Is it something, you know...
Yeah, I'll
built in
say, I'll make it like a modified, I'll use like the phaser's output or something to where it like projects sort of a bubble, like maybe tune its area effect blast to just, you know, sort of make a wall or shield or something.
Yeah, okay, absolutely. Pocket-sized phaser-like devices.
Yeah, keep it on your belt. It's like the Dune shields, kind of.
What else you guys like to do? Have you got your anti-tachyon devices?
Now we can approach.
Gonna prepare?
Yeah, now we can.
Did you want to use a transporter or did you want to use a shuttle?
I think the most Star Trek-y thing to do here, and we can not do this if you all want, but my pitch is we know that there are life signs on the ship, so I think we should lock onto the life signs and just transport over to them.
Yeah. Because we gotta be quick.
Call me crazy, but can't we transport... We lock onto the life signs and just transport them directly onto our ship?
Oh, yes, we can. They do that in TNG all the time.
Is that what you guys want to do?
Yeah, I guess that was our first option. Actually, can we transport the life signs into a secure area on our ship, just in case it's like some kind of giant ravaging tachyon monster or something?
Sure. So you want to put them into the brig, or
Yeah, and then I want to greet them on the other side of the brig, and if they're like regular people, I just want to apologize, and this was a standard security measure considering the activities around.
I'm gonna call for a engineering check of. I'm gonna say. I was gonna say 4, but I'll make it 3 because you have the anti devices. In order to properly do it. So so it's gonna definitely be an engineering. Fine.
Raider, do you need
Difficulty 3.
me to do that, or you got it? I mean, I'll do it.
I can assist, but I don't think Mark Del Rosso should be left anywhere near the transport
as
controls.
a control engineering, since it's sort of like a bit more finely tuned, and we're being precise with it.
Sure, I could see an argument for that.
Okay. And none of my focuses apply here. No momentum. Could I give you a threat for a die?
You absolutely may.
Okay. Are y'all all right with that?
Yes, Drog, while Wiggles is making that check,
Oh,
can
cool.
I roll a insight on or some sort of similar check invoking either my starship recognition or my history focuses to recall any useful information about the Hamilton?
Sure. Let me. Yeah. Okay. I'll give you this one for free. Because you have a computer right there. You look up the USS Hamilton, and from what you vaguely remember, and kind of look up its history, and you know that it disappeared somewhere about approximately 100 years ago.
Who is the, Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Please go ahead.
We have the commanding officer's name.
Yes, it would be Captain Electron.
Electron.
Right. They would be an Andorian captain.
Okay.
This was we kind of got away from Tara's role, but I was going to ask if I could do like a presence command, like kind of watching over and helping, being like a guiding organization person as an assist. That way they could re-roll their 20.
Oh, for Takara?
Mm-hmm.
I think that wouldn't necessarily help. Working
Okay.
transporting. Okay. Just to put a timeline as well, this disappearance would then occur somewhere around like the Wrath of Khan.
Okay, yeah. So it's post TOS, but it's that general time
Yeah.
period.
Okay, yeah. So the complication and the success. So right. So what's gonna happen is you try to transport these people over, and unfortunately, it's not quite working out. Just the interference of tachyons is just there's life signs. You do get one eventually through, but it doesn't work quite the way you think, and you see a figure materialize on your ship bridge instead. Down. Another Romulan.
Oh no.
And he kind of looks
Security
around.
officers.
Oh,
Yeah, he kind of looks around.
I
the bridge
imagine-
and he says, "What is this Federation trickery?"
Don't move.
My name is Captain Mark Del Rosso of the USS Bellefonte. We have discovered you on board the missing and frankly ancient USS Hamilton. Please state your name and rank.
In Federation space, no less.
Yes, on this side of the neutral zone. The neutral zone's been pretty much static for the entire time it's existed, right? It hasn't moved?
Yeah, more or less. Okay, when you say that, I'm gonna actually spend my thread here. He immediately sort of taps his badge for communication. He says, Commander Malak, there's Federation scum outside of the Hamilton. And then you kind of hear a word saying, "Acknowledged, Helmsman Ron." Says, "Tell them nothing."
Engineering! Shields up!
Shields activated.
As you're waiting for a Romulan warbird to decloak, it never comes. And the Romulan helmsman looks at you all and he says that if you're expecting an attack, it may be too late already. We will get what we need and leave. I respectively request amnesty of prisoner of war.
Yeah, I'll have some nameless security officers haul him to the brig. Alright, we need to probably transport onto the Hamilton then, right?
We need what?
To transport onto the...
Oh, yeah. Well,
Okay. Where would you like to transport?
I'd like to make sure we have our combined EVA anti-tachyon suits. And I would like to go to where we saw those life signs, because that's presumably what the Romulans want.
There are 2 life sign signals. There is one near the engineering warp core, and then there are another at the bridge.
I think we should go to the warp core.
Yeah, I also am erring towards that. Do we have a counter argument to going to the warp core? I'm gonna take that as a no, so we agree we should go to the warp core?
Sure.
They're not tachyon. Regular warp core in the tachyon field. Okay, great. I will go ahead and... So as you beam onto the Hamilton on the engineering section where the warp core is, you are being kind of outside of where the warp core and you hear the unmistakable hum of an active warp core still powering the ship. You see the ship itself is in pretty dire straits of deterioration. Panels hang from the walls. There's loose wiring everywhere. There might be even like a breach hole or not. So bringing EVA suits is a good idea. The consoles seem to be functioning at the moment. You notice through the windows there is a cylindrical device attached directly to the mixed chamber of the warp core. The device seems to be 2 meters in height, 1 meter in diameter, very similar in appearance to a photon torpedo.
Oh no.
We should disable that, probably.
Yeah.
So who's going into the warp core?
No, of course, Captain. No, but I'm the bodyguard.
I don't know how to disable a warp core, but
Okay,
I
I figured you wouldn't care.
I'll do it.
if I can provide any assistance, I'll go in too, but I just don't think I'll be useful.
Kara's going in? What else?
Well, I'm afraid that if this goes wrong, we could die. So maybe I'll just stay back.
I'm not afraid of it going wrong and dying. If I can use science to assist, I guess, because I just don't have any engineering, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be any help. But
I think science could still help if you want to help.
I think science could help too. That's a question: do you want to get in? Be actively helping.
If science will... Oh, go ahead.
Well, the photon torpedo is going to destroy this warp core, which is essentially what they're trying to get info out of, or at minimum going to kill us all. So we can either...
Alright, I would like to use... If I can use science to try and figure out a way to disable the photon torpedo, even if I personally can't do it. I would like to do that.
I suppose you can do maybe a site
Oh, wow.
science might work here.
Hold on, I'm gonna read some of my talents.
Because I'm trying to get a gauge here. Because I said it's like a photon torpedo, but it's not. Photon torpedo is not one you recognize.
Alright, yeah, I'll roll the insight. The insight science.
Okay. This is gonna be a difficulty.
We have no momentum. I don't think I can pass this check.
Oh. Okay.
Oh my god! But there was a. Oh, fuck, there was a complication too.
Okay. 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 So you're able to kind of like look at some of the computers nearby and sort of tap into it, and you came to the conclusion that this is not a photon torpedo, so to speak. This is some kind of tachyon device, and what it's doing is it's draining energy from the warp core, and tachyon bursts are causing it to it's actually emitting tachyon bursts and disruptions to the sort of antimatter containment fields. So you come to the conclusion that the Hamilton's probably going to explode pretty soon from a warp core breach, but also this tachyon device is likely causing the whole tachyon situation.
I want to relay this information to the rest of the party, and then I want to use my communicator and see if there's any way that the team on the ship, the NPCs, have any realistic chance of using a transporter to move the warp core to the planet's surface. Or, better yet, into the middle of space.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. So
Worst case, they can't, and we just have to eject the warp core.
let me try to defuse it first.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put a timer on here of how many chances you get to potentially arm it before it goes off. I'm not gonna tell you what it is though.
Atani, would you like to assist me with your science while I try to defuse this?
Yeah, I would.
I was gonna say I'm gonna call for a difficulty of filling it, and it's gonna be an extended task, so you're filling up a little tiny bar that I can see.
Can I assist with science and control?
Try. You're accessing the consoles.
I'll stun back just in case.
Okay.
I'm probably not
Okay, so
gonna.
that's gonna
I got a
give you
success.
a basic bill of. Gotcha. Okay, so you're making some progress on this. As you know, Takara is kind of working at this, and you know everyone else is standing outside, watching and trying to give as much information as they can. You are interrupted behind at some point by the sound of footprints, and you turn around. You see more Romulans have shown up. Phasers drawn.
This is why we stayed back.
Okay. Can I immediately? Okay. Rest of the group. Would it be at all smart to to give the Romulans a threat in exchange for having me or someone else move first?
Guess you can give me a threat.
Well, that's an ability I have. I have
Oh.
no hesitation.
Yeah, you can absolutely spend a threat to get.
I'm just asking the group if this seems like an intelligent course of action.
I sure we don't wanna. They might not immediately open fire. We might be able to hide in a room or something. At least take cover.
They've
Or
got the jump on
collaborate?
us.
That's true.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead.
But
Let's
there's
try that.
about to. We have something about to explode. Is this true? Like, should we be seeking
About to?
collaboration and keeping that from exploding?
All right, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't want to. I'm
Yeah.
just like, how many
please do.
Romulans are approaching? Anyways, do we like see them?
There were 4 of them. They're kind of down. They're kind of walking down the hall.
Can I guess before really quickly? Can I get like a I don't know, empathy or open book? I don't know which one you'd rather I use here to kind of get a sense for
Either
their
or,
intention.
what would you feel?
Oh, we don't have momentum distance, so I have to do empathy. So that would be, I think, insight, and we'll say command. And
does it tell you a difficulty or?
it says that you set the difficulty for this.
I'm gonna say. Gosh. I'm gonna say just the 1. Okay, yeah. Okay, so open book would be surface level thoughts in a moment. Right. So these Romulans are kind of scared. They're very unsure of what's going on. They're not immediately hostile. They're just more like, what in the world is happening?
I see. Captain, I don't sense an immediate threat from these Romulans. They may be great aid in us in deactivating this explosive core. We're looking for answers here, and if we don't trust to tell the Federation yet about what all has been going on here, because we wanted to get to the bottom of things, it may help to hear the other side that's been investigating it much longer than us.
Understood, Lieutenant. And then I guess we can try and approach him diplomatically.
So as you kind of get a little closer to the Romulans, one of them says, "Stop right there, Federation. What are you doing to that core?" And she kind of points to through the screen, which you can see are kind of still working at the device.
I have a focus in diplomacy. So I could use something like what? Presence? Control?
Yeah.
Command?
So if you want to make a kind of a diplomacy, like a kind of like a presence check, like charisma, which is like charisma stuff. So presence, and then whichever discipline you would apply, you could hit the check off the focus button when you perform task, and gives you a greater ability to essentially get a crit, which is.
Okay, so I am using focus, and then I'm going to basically be approaching being like, we're in immediate danger, all of us, and we're just seeking answers. We look for collaboration in providing an equitable safety to all parties so we can better find answers. And then I'll do my roll.
Go ahead and difficulty 1.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's alright. That's all you needed. When you say that, she kind of thinks for a moment. She puts down her phaser or her disruptor. Says, "My name is Subcommander Talaria. I simply wish my crew to survive this situation. We were investigating tachyon bursts in regards to a weapon we know that the Federation developed." Kind of points to the device that Takara is working on. I requested that we could be given the chance to evacuate, but Commander Merrock on the bridge wants to extract all the information from your Federation ship before we're allowed to leave. But if this device goes off, then the crew would be forfeit.
As would ours. So, at minimum, a truce until we can deactivate and gain information about what's happening, because we would like more information on this device as well.
Very well. And she says, she kind of goes through her pockets and she says, "We found these recordings from the captain of this ship earlier. It may provide some Go ahead and give you guys Black's logs. If somebody wants to read those off.
Sure. Captain's log, stardate 1425.7. Having arrived in the Carina system, we are ready to begin the testing of the tachyon weapon. Mr. Spruell, the weapon designer, and our chief engineer, Lieutenant Mattis, have assured me that all indications point to a positive and successful test. Mr. Spruell claims that the weapon will harness directed tachyon bursts to degrade any structure, artificially aging it and thus disabling any potential threat. Captain's log, stardate 1426.6. Despite the best efforts of Chief Engineer Mattis, the tachyon weapon is drawing ever-increasing power from our engines. The process appears irreversible. All efforts to stop or contain the weapon have failed. My first officer has suggested that we attempt to destroy the device, but Mr. Spruell is convinced that the damage to the device could cause a simultaneous core breach and explosion of tachyons so powerful that the entire Carina system could be destroyed. Captain's log, stardate 1426.8. The device has drained so much energy from the ship that we no longer have impulse power and life support is beginning to fail. Reports are coming in from all ship's departments of structural failures in the ship's bulkheads and superstructure. All attempts to regain control of the device have failed. Antimatter containment is beginning to fail, and I have ordered a general evacuation. Captain's log, stardate 1426.8 supplemental. Captain Shan's log has no commentary. Instead, you see images of the Hamilton disappearing in a brilliant flash of light.
And I imagine you're kind of reading this out while Takara's still like fiddling with his devices.
Yeah, and I'm doing it in a very dramatic Star Trek introduction episode way. If that was not accurately conveyed by the way I read it.
Well received.
Based on what I knew about the Hamilton earlier, would it be a logical inference for me to assume that this flash of light was the ship being transported into the future?
Yes, I think that would be.
Okay.
And with that, Lara says, your Vulcan is not able to disarm this device. I would request then be allowed to try to convince Commander or talk to let us leave. Bridge.
Eminently logical.
Okay, so with that being said, the device is still counting down, but you can theoretically leave it alone without making it load. It's gonna go off-ish, but not like immediately. But that's kind of up to Kara.
What's the status, Captain? Do you want me to keep working on this thing?
Point for consideration is, did the log just say that if this explodes, it'll destroy this entire system?
Yes, it did.
So yes.
So we should think
Yeah.
about all those innocent people on Carina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should try and disarm this, because if it just continues, it's gonna go off, right?
Okay, so that being said, I'm gonna say, with that, Talaria kind of nods at you, whistles to send in one of her best, Romulan scientists that can help. Kara, so I'm gonna make it a difficulty 2 instead, as you kind of fill up that, little clock. Yeah, go ahead and give me,
Can I do engineering?
or engineering, yeah, engineering.
Hey.
Can we roll the same assists?
Sure. Hello. Okay, yeah, you know what, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead with that. With the Romulan helping you out, you're able to eventually stabilize the device in a fairly reasonable time. You're not able to detach it. You suspect that detaching it would make it go off.
Yeah.
But at least the tachyon emissions are down. I expect that they're going to start clearing up in an hour or so. That the commander says, "Thank you for stabilizing that device. I would ask that you allow us to leave, perhaps prisoners into our care, so that we don't create a diplomatic incident, but still have to take care of Commander Barak. Seems intent on taking any information of him."
We would be more than happy to release any prisoners we have captured over the course of this mission. We want an incident with the Romulan Star Empire as little as you want one with the Federation. However, I think it would be prudent in this case that you also turn over any information that you have acquired in this ship, about this ship. This weapon is very old. I do not know whether the Federation has developed anything similar since. However, most of the crew appears to have, there is no record of most of the crew. and their families and their descendants deserve some closure.
Very well then. We'll give you your information from your ship, and in return, you will return to us any of our prisoners, and we will go apart our own separate way.
Yeah, I'll shake on that, if she will shake on that.
She'll shake your hand. This way. Kind of goes to the turbo lift. Anybody want to stay in the engineering?
I would like to get back to my ship and go to the doctor.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I would also like to radio over a basic summary of what's happening.
So, I guess what I'm asking is, who is going to the bridge?
No, I'll go with y'all if the captain sees fit.
Yeah, I'm happy to be wherever I'm most useful. But I have a question. If I've used one of my values in a specific way,
Oh, so what happens is
does
if you
that
use a
do something?
value and we kind of agree with the value, you could potentially earn a determination point, which is kind of like a free credit.
Oh.
Oh, so I could have been invoking values this entire time, is what you're saying.
Whoops.
Essentially, because values, what happens is you have to. It's a very specific thing. I have to.
Okay, because we definitely,
Yeah, it's not
you've
enough
been
just to
role-playing
say-
the
it's not-
daring
It's not enough to just say like you
and sensors.
It's
Well, I mean, it's just like my values are spoiling for a fight, with
Uh-huh.
confidence, even if you don't feel confident.
Yeah.
Mysteries are irresistible, and sensors are bullshit.
He's been doing all of them.
Yeah, so let me double check here, because determinations are kind of like a meta currency, pretty rare. So
Okay.
what happens is, if you feel like you are doing a value and it's absolutely like a critical point, then we can talk about it and whether or not you can apply or challenge your value. Because what happens is that essentially you're kind of making your player character go into like NPC mode, to fulfill
okay.
a value that's like overriding everything else, right? And that's how you gain those like determination points.
Okay. Okay, that makes
so
sense.
it's not.
It's not enough just to be like, oh yeah, I'm kind of acting in character. It's like this is a critical moment where your character has to act like this because of that value, even if it doesn't 100% make sense. Even if it's not the most meta gaming.
So I don't know. I'll leave it to you then with this like Romulans approaching because it felt like a tense situation, but maybe it wasn't. But
Yeah, I would
diplomacy is.
say Tani's version would count because everybody was ready to go at us or shooting at each other. But you are a diplomat. You have diplomatic values. You feel obligated to step in and say, "Hey, wait a second."
It's like my first and last solution to anything is diplomacy is the value, and like I got it from a friend dying in a diplomacy gone wrong
Yeah.
situation.
Absolutely. So I will say you would comply with your value then. Normally that would
top
actually
it?
just make you suffer a complication. But in this case, and just to kind of ignore that, but you gain a point of determination. So would you get auto crits? Right, and a complication, thing, but we won't deal with it now. But just so you know, that's kind of advanced play, so you guys kind of understand how those points work.
Do I toggle that on my sheet as I use it? Is that how that works?
Yes, yes, it goes up and down as you. Okay, so as you enter the bridge, you're kind of escorted by Sub-Commander Talara. You are fired upon at first by the Romulans as you're kind of climbing up the turbo lifts, but then as the Sub-Commander calls out, they stop firing, and you're allowed to sort of enter the bridge where the Commander Marok there, fiddling with the console of the computer, kind of like mumbling to himself. We have to do this before those Federations get here. The Federation's fools. And he looks around and he sees all of you and Commander Talaria, and he's like, "What's going on here? Why aren't these Federation fools being shot at? I don't have time for this." And the Sub-Commander kind of goes forward and just says, "Please, Commander, listen to the Federation. We have worked out a deal with their captain. The weapon information is not worth it. And I am inclined to believe that they are not willing to use the weapon in the future, given it just caused their own colonists so much trouble." And the commander kind of is just like, "I don't believe you. I don't believe them. Federation would never give up a chance to find a way to destroy the Star Empire."
What is this guy's rank? Is he a captain?
Yeah,
Commander.
he's a Kumasiba captain.
Commander Marok, if I may, this Federation starship is over 100 years old. This weapon in development is over 100 years old. While initially its design may have been filed as a failure, at some point, I guarantee you, further investigation has been done. If there is any viable weapon here at all, the Federation has already developed it.
That's possible, but how do I know this is not a Federation trick? This guy's, I want to say, Atani, you can, really get this guy's empathy. He is like the definition of Romulan paranoia.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I got that even without you telling me.
Yeah, right. No, it's just like a TNG episode. For telling us the thing that we obviously could see.
Lol.
Captain, he's exactly what you think he is.
God bless stereotypes.
But yeah, any conversation to have him back down, I'm gonna say right now is working on a difficulty 5. You guys can kind of figure it out how you want to approach it.
Alright, I think Lieutenant Stoddy should probably try and intercede here, and then we can, like, she should try, she should try diplomatically, and then we should back that up with force.
Actually, I'm gonna make it a difficulty 4 because Talaria is there vouching for you.
So then you need me to roll a reason and a command for a kind of diplomatic, right? And then be like, Commander, I understand why you have distrust for the Federation, as I'm sure you understand why we would have distrust for you. Yet, side by side, Romulans and Federation worked to stabilize that core so all parties could be safe. And we agreed to an air of camaraderie and mutual benefit in order to overcome dire situations, which I think is always the best path forward. What you want, as my commander so eloquently said, if there is any technology, the Federation has already developed it. Clearly, it is on that ship. But that does not mean that we will block access of what is on that ship now from you, so that you can have that information for defense. And that way you can trust that we come with good intentions for you. We cannot remove technology from our own Federation, but we can give you at least an advantage in defending yourselves. And in exchange, we, we have peaceful departure. We take what we can from each and take our informations and do better in the world with it.
Okay.
And then you said 4.
I want to make that a difficulty 3, actually. I like that speed.
And I'm gonna use focus because my focus is diplomacy.
You want to use some momentum there?
I think you should.
Okay, and I use that before or after I
You
roll?
have to use it before you make a roll. So the exchange rate is 1 for 1, then 2 for 1, then 3 for 1. So if you spend 3, you get 2 extra die.
What would people prefer I use?
I think you should go nuts. Get all of it. We need all the successes here.
Okay,
So now
3.
you're at 4 die. If you want, you can give me a point of threat for an extra. Oh, sorry, it'll be 3 points of threat for a one more.
Do
Yeah, no risk, no reward.
Sure, go ahead. Why
And
not?
if you are fine with it, if we have the captain and the security people behind you, and sort of being like, also, if you don't go along with this, there's the implied threat that we are vastly outnumbering you, and we can blow up the ship at any
And
time.
you know what, Jack? This is actually an excellent time for you to use that determination you just earned because you have 2 points worth. So what happens is you just hit the little button that says use determination. It auto turns one of those die you would roll into a critical. So that would be 2 successes.
Okay, so I click that, and now I'm gonna hit roll die.
Alright. There you go. See? It all worked out.
Oh, you don't even need to roll help.
And in fact,
Cool.
you're actually missing a die. Which is funny.
Do we want to roll help in this case just to try and get some momentum back?
You certainly could. Over these. But it doesn't matter. I think it's kind of the end of the adventure
Okay, I
anyway.
kind of
But
figured.
like
yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
just so you
uh-huh.
guys know how it kind of vibes if it were to keep going. That's kind of how you balance out determination,
Right.
right? And try to bank more momentum. But yeah, with that being said, Commander Merrick kind of listens to Stadi's words, and eventually he kind of settles down. Speak with great wisdom. We agree to your terms. We simply wish to protect ourselves, and thank you for having forethought to have me realize that. We will evacuate. We will, and he kind of takes some information out of the console and he hands it over. This is all we gathered from the Hamiltons. Hopefully we can forget about this entire situation. Go back to how things.
Thank you so much for your reason and generosity, Commander.
Kind of wrapping up this story here. Eventually everybody kind of teleports back. I assume you sort of honor your word, and Romulans do well. The tachyon emissions around Carina 7 dissipate. The governor, gives you your greatest thanks that you've taken the time to actually fix it and give the guarantees, of course, that the situation has been solved. Ephron's situation as a grown child would not be reversible, but in time he would be able to learn and catch up, so he's not going to be aging any faster. Your own scans show that you guys were not aging faster either. Tachyon situation has been taken care of. The neutral zone has been restored. Information has been passed, and a weapon from the Federation's past has been kind of put to rest.
And presumably
Alright.
Section 31 is going to swipe in and start developing this all over again.
Yeah, so can I get some end captain's logs and perhaps supplementals of your characters? Call it a wrap.
Counselor's log. Mysterious day with rapid aging turned out to be an encounter with the Romulans. Although that often foreshadows great violence, we were able to successfully navigate a compromise and disable a tachyon generator while we were at it. Overall, a very successful day. Perhaps I shall build some Romulan furniture tonight. In log.
Captain Del Rosso is probably going to write up some formal commendations for everyone that was on the away team.
Oh.
Commander's log, as Takara is back in her bunk, putting another little miniature jar of soil from Corellian 7, putting it on the shelf next to all of the other samples from each of the planets that she visits. Battled with Romulans again. Nasty work. They went after the children or something.
They did.
Roy?
Gosh. Captain's log, huh? You know what? Can't even
Idiot
forget
Captain
about it.
almost got himself killed again today.
Yeah. Can he even forget about it for a bit to go play some cards again? First for a while, and then oh yeah, I suppose. And yeah, pretty much. I don't know. I don't remember. Most of it I've been trying to just enjoy my time.
Green, I'm going to
We're
remind
going
you that it's not just cards that you picked as your pastime. You picked solitaire.
Yeah. I will need to finish this off by saying that it's about time I play some solitaire.
Now, Mark Del Rosso picked just cards, so I imagine you're playing solitaire to get away from him.
And
Too
then,
much, yeah.
Yeah, as the pun happens, everyone sort of laughs, and one of the ensigns says, "Oh, by the way, one of the colonists sent you a bottle of white wine. He seemed quite unhinged, but said you'd know what he was talking about."
Oh, is it any good when I drink it
Yeah,
later tonight?
It's a little better than what you drank before. right?
Uh-huh.
I think perhaps you're not much of a wine person after all.